Okay, maybe we can start the story now. It's been about 30 minutes, right? We good for the story? I think so. If we have some time at the end, we'll do the shallow sequences for Herrscher of Truth, and we'll get that stuff done. But for now, I think we start the story, right? I think it's time to begin towards a new tomorrow. Honkai's painful by default, nothing new. Touché. Touché. Honkai is indeed miserable. Alright. As per usual, boys, when we do the story, we enter story mode, where I essentially only do the story in a nice, concise manner, and I don't really interact with chat, not too frequently, because I think it's nice to get the story nice in one fluid motion for nice rewatchability. So, it's done in stages, and ooh, 9 stages. That's quite a few, actually. That's quite a few stages for the first part. I'll be honest with you. I like the new visual, and obviously, for those who don't know, the main menu has the little kind of thing in the background. When you log on for the first time after the chapter goes up, you get a nice little dialogue with Hyperion. I didn't really read it because it didn't seem overly important, but she just talks to you about like shit and stuff. So that's that. So here it is. Chapter 35, Toward a New Tomorrow. Mr. Kev in. He sat in silent darkness in his journey of 50,000 years. He has fulfilled every one of his promises, and now could he be awaiting the end of the journey? Ominous. Okay. Oh, it just already starts the first chapter off with one of the most miserable things I can imagine, is just Raven. Okay. I've got something in my eye. Give me a second. Everything started here, and it would all end here. Even if the 7 billion people on Earth had not been placed in the same dream at this moment, they'd still look up at the moon together. Since the birth of civilization, the tranquility of this celestial body had projected a noble and extraordinary image into the hearts of the people. But in all fairness, it was a form of aloof beauty created by just the right distance. Now, the throne forged by the sacrifice of the ages sat in the dark sky above this wasteland. Only it no longer ruled over everything. It was just a manifestation of the usurper's divinity. Alrighty, folks. The man's tone remained the same after hearing everything. That was most unusual. Upon noticing this, the AI started a scan to determine if it missed something earlier. Otherwise, why would the man remain so indifferent after hearing about the Bubble Universe's history and Dr. May's dying wish? Hey, what's up, Levi? Welcome to the stream. Let me just tweak the volume here for a second. The man was free of his ignorance, but his reaction made no sense. Don't you have anything to say for this, Kevin? No, I don't. Project Stigma will bring nothing but harm to you. Get away whilst you can. What about you then, Kev? Leave the proper world? It's the only way you'll have a future. The man could only repeat the same old platitudes in his usual tone. The promises of the past held so many memories that he didn't know where to start, actually. But even so, he did not wish to be too insincere to his friend of his, whom he'd killed with his own hands. Thank you for telling me everything, though. I don't understand, Kevin. What's up? Dr. May said you were a lonely boy. And he is, in fact, a lonely boy. But as I see it, you're further from the definition of a human than I am. Ooh. It is not difficult for me to accept a conclusion. Since May thought the future Herschers would be able to carry the future of mankind on their shoulders, I am willing to do my best and give them far more than half a day. But all you've done is watch with indifference. In a familiar yet unknown world, a long and hopeless struggle against something beyond reach. That is too cruel and shouldn't be shouldered by a group of young people. Are you referring to them? Or us? Ooh. Obviously, the man was never one to ridicule others with words. But his question did put off Prometheus from speaking more. Indeed, even if those young girls were in battle that would take thousands of years to make a difference, it was nothing special or worth mentioning. The man had experienced the same. There is nothing new under the sun. But the cruelest part isn't the past, rather it's all that's yet to come. She had remained silent since she arrived, but she finally spoke. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't silent on purpose. Her gaze drifted to Prometheus before she casually looked away. I just wish she could realize it herself, just like right now. It's essentially to humanity, of course. It's essential to humanity, of course. But it is also sorely needed by the plan you've entrusted to me. The man offered no response, but he realized that she was here for more than telling him about the past. We may not have solid evidence, but even if this plan fully codifies space, it's not a permanent solution, right, Kevin? Oh ho ho, you dare approach me? Me, from the proper world. It is the guest born from her destiny. Based on the cocoon of finality's nature, it would never choose someone to become the Hersha finality of its own accord. It was the fear of Hershas born in random ways that made the people of the past design the will of Honkai in the new age. Now the will of Honkai is gone, and the way you got a hold of the power of finality from the cocoon was not much different from stealing. Kevin stole the finality powers? I see. Interesting one, interesting one. Welcome to the Stream Extended Magazine. Hope you're having a great day, buddy. So, the artificial life paused for a moment. Regardless, she has just started trying to analyze herself as humans do. She may be able to detect the man's current desire, but she found it difficult to understand. So, Project Sigma may never truly succeed. Pretty much what I've been saying for the past, I don't know, like 8 patches. Project Sigma's a hoax, a facade, a joke of an operation, you know what I mean? As someone who can control the power of finality with your own will and on your own terms, you must shoulder it forever and keep it from failing. As it should be. Very bold. Yes, I understand. It's the only right way for you. She gazed at the man who returned to the throne in silence and sighed in sympathy. In his journey of 50,000 years, he had fulfilled every one of his promises. He defeated Honkai with the body of a man, and as a sinner, he shouldered the ideal of deliverance one last time. And a man like this, do you seek death? Ooh. Or perhaps, while you do not have such a wish, you are just like how I used to be. When faced with the world you see now, death is the only mercy. Ooh. What's he sitting on? Is he just floating? What's he, Bryce? Is he not? He's not sitting on anything. I don't think that's not a, hello? Chair? Floating. Magic. Finality. She sacrificed everything for the future of mankind. But I haven't. Seems like we've come to the right place, Kevin. Now, I return the name Heir to the World Serpent, and I'm willing to be held accountable for killing you. Oh. Mistral Shariak. Do you think you can succeed? Of course. No, I cannot do shit against you. I only spoke about being held accountable. But the power you possess, it is equivalent to the despair you've experienced. Someone is trying to kill me. Their chances may be minuscule, but if they do persist, they still may have a chance. When that time comes, I'll be defeated despite giving it my all. I hope you will embrace these feelings and feel a little better. But that won't be necessary. Of course, you're not wrong. Rather than eradicating Honkai, all I did was imprison it. But I will ensure that it stays that way until the death of the planet. Even if you must live alone forever in this world that is utterly empty to you. And due to the authority of finality, you're practically doomed to never experience what your comrade did and find a new purpose of life. We have no other choice. As for a new purpose of life, I don't need it. Tense. Indeed. Even without something like that, you still got this far, didn't you? It's time for us to go, number 17. Now! We're leaving now? Many things beyond her understanding had occurred here and now, yet she intended to leave immediately upon revealing her desire to kill. As a being born from code, she still found it quite difficult to use her own words and explain how humans broke promises. Yes. Even if I find it hard to believe, but that's what things have turned out to be. You and I, may not be humans yet, but we have their freedom. We can live and die on our own terms. Fighting one's fate used to be a human privilege, but he, Kevin, he has become someone who knew their own fate yet still devoted themselves to it. As always, she became unresponsive once more. Stop trying to define him. If a title is necessary, I think hero may be the only choice. Now, listen. Kevin is not a balding man in yellow spandex with a white cape, so I don't think he can be classified as a hero. Or is that a red cape? I can't remember what colored cape. But Kevin is not a bald man in yellow spandex, so I can't, like, label him as a hero personally. You? Sure. But he's not balding or in yellow spandex, so no. I am not qualified to challenge such a hero. The mechanical girl provided no response. As far as she was concerned, it would take a long time to assimilate the hearts of these ambiguous yet extremely determined people. After a short delay, she followed Mistleton's signal and walked to the edge of the huge throne. Through the ability to travel freely between the stigma space and reality, an open door emerged, one connected to the upcoming journey of the two humans. But before that, number 17 slaps him. She slapped him. He deserves much more than that, to be quite frank. She watched with surprise as Prometheus abruptly turned around back to the man. She reached out her hand and slapped the godlike being with her pitiable strength. Even if he wasn't a real god, it was an action too bold for an AI and absolutely contrary to reason. And naturally in vain. You should shed at least one tear for her. This is for the anger I feel as her friend, Kevin. She knew that she'd never get an answer. Even if the man had once woken up crying late at night, it would be from too long ago. His sorrow had been tempered by time and was no longer capable of being shown like a normal person would. She was no fool and was aware of everything. But that was also why the slap was necessary. After a long silence, Prometheus finally took back her hand. She made a final display of disappointment by turning her back on him quietly. The man remained silent and simply watched as both visitors leave. For someone of his power, he was being quite lenient today. But it was a fact. The man was no king or god. He was Kevin. Wait, that line is so... He was no man, he was no god, he was no king. He was Kevin. Just Kevin. Many silence later. A long time passed before footsteps were heard again. Given the nature of this place, there might be too many guests here today. Every step she took was done with care, but she still made some unexpected noises when arriving in front of Kevin. Natasha. She accidentally stepped on some spikes of ice when she got near Kevin. Just spikes, I guess. Perhaps it was impossible for anyone to guess what they were, but it seemed like they just fell onto the ground not too long ago. It brought back memories of the time she performed with tempered glass, known as Rupert's Tears for the children. Raven. It seems you're still unaware, Kevin. Well, such trivial things are beyond you, old man. Grey Serpent has expelled me from the World Serpent. That's okay. The World Serpent will be meaningless once this is all over. I understand that, but there's pressing matters here. When betrayal occurs right before your eyes, I cannot assume that I can just leave without saying anything. It was my own decision. I plan to stay with the children in New Atra until they can return to Earth. We may not be colleagues anymore, but because it's about the children, Hair still helped me get to the moon. She stopped here. In her opinion, such behavior is self-evident for someone so fickle. See. What you believe in is completely different from what I used to be. Feel free to hedge your bets, you know, I won't stop you. But sire, if I had truly believed in something, then I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be where I am now. I'm just setting an example for the children. Birds fly because they want to fly. It's the destiny they carve for themselves. His tears? True, I guess they are his tears. But spikes, dude? Damn. I don't think that's an actual saying. Birds fly because they can. Whatever. At the very least, they should use or see their teacher practicing what they preach. But you know it isn't the truth. Indeed, there is no reason why birds fly. It's merely because they are born that way. Boom! Truth. But the naked truth is not what we should leave behind for the future generations. Rather, our responsibility is to explain the dreams of these truths, right? Even if it is all fiction, it still has a power of its own. I hope so too. That's what I told you then, right? She never imagined the man would remember every word from their previous conversation. But if she could somehow find out that the answer to her question about flying was something the man had sought for thousands of years, her surprise would be even more dramatic. You can take them anywhere you want. No one will stop you ever again, I'll make sure of that. But, Raven, we mentioned two possibilities, and neither of them are realized yet. He started to walk with a distant expression. It seemed he planned to go for a short trip. At this point, the former World Serpent agent finally came to understand why their sire chose to sit here. Why he stayed away from all inhabited planets. This is! The shadow cast by the man at this moment appeared corporeal, and the bizarre phenomena within it would definitely bring shock to any first-time witnesses. Finality. Even if this abstract concept to most did somehow appear before people, it was still hardly understood. As for the human species, what could be seen but couldn't be understood was the most terrifying of all. Raven, it's easy to forget something when we talk about flying. Icarus once soared into the sky too. The sun was right within his reach. But his, his clay wings melted. Damn, incredible. So that was Kevin transforming. Weirdly enough, what Kevin is doing right now reminds me of the current thing happening in Destiny 2's release and expansion with the Witness, and how the Witness is like this kind of almighty power that has like this weird transformation. Kind of give me that same vibe. Forgive me, I must insist on declining. Oh, don't worry about it. Just come give it a try. Who are these voices again? These voices are... I don't know. They say when in Rome, do as the Romans do. We're almost there. Oh, Sushang is flying so... Oh, you have Susanna. It's so exciting. Actually, we've arrived, Sushang. We've been going around in circles since you urged me to fly with the God's Bane the last time. It's Susanna, Rita, Sushang. Upon being reminded, the young girl finally stopped flying and started a rapid descent. And we're falling. And for her companion, she placed the last straw, which led to the air sickness. Okay, great. We're here, Susanna. Susanna. Leave her, Sushang. In striking contrast to the quaint mountain houses, the Shixel transport ship was hovering in mid-air near the landing port. And Rita Rossweiss awaited the arrival of her companions with her usual grace. It's alright. There are comprehensive medical facilities at the Hestia, and all she needs is some rest. So this is... it's nothing. Just overestimated her ability to adapt. It was her habitual elegance and her wish to teach her team member a lesson that prevented her to lecture the Abetor? Abetor. The word. Since Durandal and Teresa started anchoring the world, reclaiming lost ground had become quite meaningful. The Valkyries had been constantly working on liberating the land. And in charge of this area was the reasonably yet slightly old Shixel squad. Anyway, let's go on with our mission, shall we? Get well soon. Jesus Christ. How about I fly her back first? It won't take too long anyway. Please spare her the trouble. Also, according to our initial recon intel, our mission isn't very difficult. It can be done by the time I get back. Indeed, traveling in a ship is much more comfortable for a B-rank Valkyrie too. Okay. She seemed to have finally realized her mistake and started to awkwardly change the topic. This is Mount Taishuan now. Let's go. This is our mission, just to annihilate all the monsters in the vicinity. Basically, but to be exact, annihilating these monsters that abide by Project Stigma's will and constantly codify space will only delay the codification process, but it cannot truly reclaim this place. As for the key to resolving the problem, it's actually Sushang Summer's aptitude as a Stigma awakened. Me? Yes, Through your ability to expand space within Project Stigma, we can impair the codification of these monsters when we kill them, so Cosmic Juggernaut can locate and anchor itself in to this place with ease. Once we've completed that step, Project Stigma will be powerless in these lands. Is this a kind of description I always see in the Valkyrie reports? Industrialization or automation? It isn't far from the truth. Job is no different from when we were in the Deep or Saint Freya. Let's start with this in front of us. Oh shit. New effects, let's go. Bro, it's not recycled effects? Oh my god, I love it. No recycled effects, dude. Kiana's saved Saint Freya from the situation far worse than this. Kiana is alright, rather. Is Kiana right? They've gone through far worse, have they? Jesus Christ, I don't think I have. What about the Great Master? Poor, the best master. Don't have to worry about Fuhua. Fair enough. Seely's helping Fu. Nice. Oh, Rita, right. Then why? Honestly, it would have been interesting to see like a Seely and Fuhua thing. Ooh. Who is this Rita? Is this what Rita is this? Hold up. Ah, it's this one. The one that I don't know how to play. But bear in mind, I don't know how to play any Rita. Get him. Oh yeah, the Edge of Taishuan? It's actually to annihilate these things. How unexpected. A lot of swords there. Oh, here we go. That's it! Our work in this area is indeed near completion. I like how they're doing this camera stuff. They're changing up how like the dialogue just happens from scene to scene. It's not just well, this is like the first one they did in, but they're just kind of changing it up a bit, which is nice. It's not the same, just like two pictures of a character talking. We still need a little more time to finish expanding the space to our advantage. She's running on the spot, moonwalking. And furthermore, we have more important matters to confirm. Important matters? So it is true. Anything wrong? Mount Taishuan has always been thinly populated, so it's still too early to draw a conclusion. Don't leave me hanging here. Put it simply, in the previous reclaiming operation, Reader explained to Li Zusheng. Such a thing. So, yes, such a thing happened. It is not confirmed yet. That is why we should continue the mission. Okay, incredible. Yeah, I exactly know what she said. That's incredible. Thank you so much. Are they talking about the sentient stuff? Are they talking about some other stuff that probably happened at some point? I don't know what they're talking about. Is this a part of the plan? Oh, is this Otto? I know they're kind of the same effects as Otto. Oh, Rita. Can I run as well? Hello? Rita, hello? Wait for me. I can't. I'm forced to walk. Reasonable situation for Su Shang's ability. That voice. The best character is there. Susanna? What's she doing here? Well, it's Susanna, so, well... Susanna's kind of like that anime character who always ends up, like, in a very precarious situation and has to be saved all the time. And is kind of like the comedy relief, you know what I mean? That's kind of what Susanna is. You know what I mean? Oh, I knew it was you, Susanna! Oh my god, Rita is here too! We're on a combat mission in this area, but weren't you still on the ship? Yes, I don't know for how long I was out. I only saw Alvati taking care of me when I woke up. She could handle all the work abroad, so I hurried off in your direction. Not only did I fail to find anyone, but I also kept running into monsters. I was forced to deal with them while continuing my search. Monsters? You're really amazing, Susanna. So you're the reason. I'm the reason? What do you mean? Sushang is saying that after all the setbacks you faced, the speed at which you cleared all out imaginary constructs was actually on par with ours. Is this where Susanna's gonna get her upgrade? Is this where we're gonna get to see, like, juiced out Susanna? You took the wrong path, but your performance in combat is commendable. Imaginary constructs? Doesn't the manual say they're quite annoying at times? I've been meaning to say this, you could be more confident in yourself, Susanna. Back then when I roamed the world, I was more of a rookie than you are now. Oh my god, don't say that. They look like plants, so I thought they were very, very weak monsters, and that it was why Susanna ends up being the actual Hershro finality. That's why she's so strong and can deal with anything if she just puts her mind to it. Intentional or not, results never lie. Durandal-sama and I will take the strength you've revealed into consideration to your next performance review, and from now on, we'll assign you tasks that truly help you improve. But right now, we should get back to our current mission. Allowing yourself to get excited while traveling the world has dire consequences. Okay. This is where we get to see Susanna's power up 100%, right? She'll be like caught in a sticky situation and will have to activate her tambourine powers. She'll have to activate her tambourine powers and harness the power of music or whatever it is called. The rhythmical notes. Bam. Oh. I don't get this reader, by the way. She like has a 3 combo thing. Maybe you have to like use it in a very specific way. That's probably it, actually. You have to use it in a very specific way for it to kind of feel smooth. But also maybe you need like team synergy. Bam! Whoops. Neurotoxin, that's a new debuff, right? They introducing more debuffs in the game? Neurotoxin. Wow. Whoa. Incredible. Another barrier down. Oh! Yeah, look at these nice cinematized like little like things. Like it's kind of like Honkai Star Rail, right? Because this is how Honkai Star Rail like does its story. Like it's all just done in motion. There's no like kind of 2 character pictures just talking to each other. It's like actually all in motion and whatnot. Nice. A little bit of a secret talk. Yes, I see. You can't skip this stuff though, so I have to watch it. Alvita conducted a preliminary survey of the area ahead, aboard Hestia. The Mount Taishuan region is returning to normal. Alright. But spatial expansion is still going on, so we can only wait a little more in place. However, about what we were discussing earlier, if we are still unable to rescue any residents at this point, then the anomalies that the other troops observed during the reclaiming should not be coincidental. Residents? Are you saying aren't a few people there? Oh? How do we now miss those, Rita? No, they're holograms or some shit. Please wait, Sushang. And then she gets stabbed by the old lady, right? The old lady ends up being a ghoul. Oh? What? Oh? A ghost. Are they ghosts or something? Don't worry too much, this is one of the anomalies after all. That's kind of interesting. It's a long story. If we go into details, we should report the situation to Overseer first after this space stabilizes. We are in a situation where we cannot win. 15 minutes later. I guessed right, eh? It really is bad. Oh. So what's the conclusion? For someone like her who found it difficult to understand terms, perhaps skipping the reasoning and going straight to the conclusion would be more effective. Basically, Everyone we've seen has nothing to do with the possession and is closer to a form of mirage. So that means they are living somewhere else right now. Yes, in their own dreams. Which is to say, we've been reclaiming more of the Earth, but we have failed to free more people. Moreover, the greater our battle radius is, the fewer people we can save. Actually, even the projection you witness can only be seen on very rare occasions. I haven't seen a single person in any of the places we've reclaimed. But didn't we just rescue Rita-sama's parents? That's probably because they were living near Shixel HQ. As for the neighboring Naples, the population's natural rate of return has dropped to around 50%, causing the locals to start panicking. In order to appease the people, Shixel is forced to tell them that the Great Eruption has begun, and we are doing our best to fight it, so they must observe social order and protect their families. Project Stigma is horrible. You got that right. But you mentioned that some others from the World Serpent intend to help us. What about that? The details haven't been finalized. If based on the method of communication, it seems like Hare's doing, but if based on the actual assistance provided to us, then it doesn't seem like the work of a single person. What? They seem to be intentionally concealing their identity and merely sending numerous blank Stigma space fragments near Cosmic Juggernaut. They seem to have realized that these fragments can improve our efficiency when reclaiming the Earth. Or Nagamitsu speculates that this may be linked to the Stigma awakened lingering around New Atra, but it's merely an assumption. In short, those people are still within the dreamland created by Project Stigma, and reclaiming space and bringing people back from the dreamland are two separate things. Correct? It's no wonder you think we are unlikely to win in this situation. Our plan is progressing steadily. It is possible to take back the Earth, but if new measures aren't taken, all we'll recover is practically empty Earth. Well, that won't do. How can we resist to the end and yet yield the same result as Project Sigma? Yes, that is what we urgently need to improve. Luckily, the situation isn't completely out of our hands. For instance, when up against a problem created by the Dreamland, maybe we can try throwing ourselves into it. Oh, we enter the dream. We become dreamers. What's that? There's like an achievement in World of Warcraft, like something about dream walking, the Dreamer. I think there's like a title you can get called the Dreamer. It's quite a cool title, actually. I don't know how you get it, but I'm pretty sure it's like a title. The Dreamer. Maybe we'll get that here. It was a dreamy ball. And it was also a white screen. When the curtains fell, the stars were still sparkling. When the echo died down, the fragrance of the intertwined petals remained. Here, the origin of new life resided. Everything was at an end, but nothing was truly over. Yes. We agreed to move forward, right? Then I'm heading off. She dances like the fluttering birds. So it just gives me the option to run faster. She is radiant as gems and jades. What about diamonds? And her future is... shall be written with whom she loves. Incredible. Is that about Alicia, I assume? Or Kiana? One of the two. Well, as expected. Upon entering the chaotic planet directory again, she failed to locate her companions who could unlock the only path for her. Only she remained in the boundless chaos, and the dense threads lurking around her. It seems Bronya was right. I've been going down a one-way road. So when I tried to go back the way I came, I entered a completely different path. And as for her exact location in the planet directory, and how far away her companions are, all of these were unknown to her. But besides the abnormally rapid increase in enemies, and the increasingly warped space, there was one more thing that truly bothered her. What resided far away at the limit of her senses. It went in and out of hiding as if it was hidden in the shadows of the forest or the undercurrents of a deep lake. Kevin? It isn't him. Very much alike, but not him. She recalled what she experienced in the final crater. Compared to then, the unknown force did not feel like it was awaiting a challenge. But a different thought gradually took form in her mind. But if they do discover something like this, they would be on the same mind as me. So, even if I can't get back to where I started, if we advance toward the same target from different sides, we'll definitely meet somewhere in space. Now she's thinking. Oh god, I have to play the character now? Oh no. I have to play the game. This is like the worst part of the game, is having to play it. Why am I getting a tutorial? Bro, I know how to play the character. What the hell, man? Who doesn't know how to play this character? She's so simple. The WoW titles had to do with the Emerald Dream, their matriarch, I forgot the name. Ysera. I just remember it had a dream title. WoW has like a lot of good titles, in my opinion. WoW has like really good titles. There seems to be something else, Nani. Nani. Bam. I'm running out of patience. Honestly, so am I. Maybe I should get a little bit violent. Bro, I've been violent this whole fucking time. Nothing's happening. This is violence? Well, fair enough. That's quite violent. Didn't do shit now, did it? Didn't do shit now, did it, Mei? You absolute dingle ass. Jesus Christ, how many enemies do you have to fucking kill? You got a 400 hit combo. It's a lot of hits for a character that doesn't hit that many times. Oh, here we go, the boss. Okay. Fair enough. Or not the boss. Or maybe this is the boss. I don't fucking know. Oh. If a certain number of threads are shaken, the net will shake with them to reveal its weakness. Jump in. Dive! You have to dive! You can't just touch! Dive! You missed it. Fucking idiot. Fucking flame silent. Fucking cringe lord, dude. Cringe lord unit, I'll be honest. Mei just appears behind them. Whoa! Nani? Hello. And they're both, their jaws drop or some shit. Mei-senpai? Looks like I was right. You two sense that power too, like I thought. That power? So that wasn't you. Bronya and I thought that was the power of origin. Anyway, now that everyone is here, let's take a stock of the situation. Alright. So, Mei is origin now. The Hersher of Thunder and the Hersher of Origin. Ooh. Incredible. But it's only just a different name. I still need time to work on my understanding of the authority of origin. As for this feeling of being able to sever anything, it should just be a bonus from the authority of origin. Pardon? Being able to sever anything. What about the threads of time and the concept of time? Can you sever that so time stops forever? Like just absolutely forever, right? Jesus. Let's just stop all time, right? Legend of the Feral Druid Night Elf, Tankiness the Immortal. True. Some titles go hard though. I'll be honest with you. Some titles go hard. Like Billy Bob Bombastic, the Insane. It's an insane name. Yeah, just a bonus. Unfortunately, I'm unable to obtain more information about the Hersher of Finality and Cocoon. That's alright, it's within the doctor's expectations. Let's move our focus back to the situation at hand. Mei, if the force that you mentioned earlier isn't the authority of origin, then Bronya thinks it's very likely to be linked to the anomaly the principal spoke of. The anomaly? They told Mei what happened earlier. Meanwhile, there's talk about another conclusion. The cocoon of finality may be hiding deep within the aggregation of human dreamlands. Long before Sushang's group achieved any results, another strategic meeting about the Earth's future had started. Which is to say, in the end, the operation to recover the Earth will merge with the operation to go beyond finality. Let's look at it from two different perspectives. On one hand, judging from the latest operation results, it's becoming increasingly difficult to bring people in the dreamland back to reality along with the Earth's space. On the other hand, even after we analyze what you've brought back from the moon, Cosmic Juggernaut still won't be able to locate the cocoon of finality. This can only mean that a barrier we are unable to penetrate is hiding it. Based on our current intel, the aggregation of dreamlands is the only possibility for a barrier of this level. Fortunately, while the situation is terribly dire, we still have some room to maneuver. But the issue at hand is this. Before that, we must verify something with you. Teresa, you're prepared to restore the world, even if every ordinary person must pay a certain price, right? What was it? I thought it was a consensus reached by the Shixel, Anti-Entropy, and even part of the World Serpent. Yes, you're correct. Shall we cut to the chase, Joachim? Okay. In theory, the reason for the previously mentioned phenomena isn't complicated. If the dreams of all humans are brought together, you will get a giant known as a spiritual atom. Is this World Serpent's description of the aggregate of dreamlands? Yes. Spiritual atom links the dreamland of all humans, allowing them to share their respective stigma spaces. They share their stigma spaces? Well, judging from the results, their stigma spaces are disrupting each other and filling the information gap between each other. Just as the Sentinelese? That word, who live in isolation are unable to understand modern society, communication and imagination alone are insufficient to let humans truly perceive a world they've never been to. But stigmata record more than just simple concepts like languages and images. It is countless almost real dreamlands that are constantly growing through the shared stigma spaces. And it is the difference between people that allow those dreams to reflect the futures and the secret ideals they pursue. A utopia, eh? That was a fucking mouthful. Anyway, the Dreamland's owner will unconsciously reject the reality they should be facing. It is why we're finding it so difficult to free them with the methods we previously adopted. Our influence on the space becomes weaker as we go deeper, so resisting that unconscious rejection is growing increasingly difficult as well, just like how we are all afraid of syringes when we were young. So the dreamers are unable to leave the dreamland because they are unwilling to do so. Go figure. People don't want to do something because they don't want to do it. That is what this has been summarized. They don't want to do something because they don't want to do it. Yes. After all, dreams are just a way of the body to communicate directly with the subconscious, so we cannot avoid being influenced by the dreamer's emotions and disposition. From a technological standpoint, the aggregate of dreamlands is a singularity similar to a black hole. Even if we convert the imaginary Earth back into reality, the conversion will have little effect on it. Actually, the most annoying part is that while we're doing everything we can to rescue them, they are still dreaming happily. The audacity! Dreaming happily! Jesus Christ! The audacity of these fuckers. Makes my blood pressure shoot up. It's human nature to run from bad things. The victims don't even realize they're in a dream, so how can they even wake up? Pah, who knows? They should be happy that they can hide in their dreams, otherwise I'll knock open their heads with Tesla 105... that number, 10562, and sober them up. Is that a gun? Or is that like an alcohol? I'll knock their heads open with Tesla 10562 and sober them up. That must be like some sort of dairy product, right? Because dairy products don't sober you up, but I like dairy products, so we're gonna just call it a dairy product. So all of our hard work was in vain. Unfortunately, you're correct. The aggregation of dreamlands, or spiritual atom, is a cocoon that won't stop strengthening itself. Even dragging Kevin over and pummeling him won't change anything. Of course, she didn't really mean the part about Kevin pummeling him. It's none of your business, though. Anyway, the situation isn't in our favor at all. So what is the method you mentioned earlier? It sounds like there's a huge price to pay. Alright, it's up to Welt. Okay. As mentioned before, Spiritual Adam has become indestructible due to the people's unwillingness to regain consciousness. So if we target the most stable dreamlands and destroy them one by one, the remaining dreamlands will become unstable and gradually disintegrate. Destroy them? Yes. We can bombard them with energy weapons and execute targeted elimination of these stubborn people by force. But, could it be? What will happen to those who have their dreamlands eliminated? I'm afraid they will suffer a mental blow at the very least. Spiritual Adam does not hold dreams in the usual sense. It is the will of mankind to seek happiness. Once external force is used to destroy such a thing, memories, emotions, dreams, even desires, all of these sentiments will be shattered to pieces along with the dreamland. It's no different from a tsunami in the mental world to the dreamland's owner. As for what will happen once they return to reality, even a more optimistic estimate would probably put them at suffering a condition similar to depression. That's not too bad. That's not too bad, right? Opposed to dying? Well, just a little bit of depression over dying. Come on. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst. After all, a human who has lost their desires has actually lost everything. Which is to say, even life would be meaningless to them. Indeed, choosing to confront the collective human subconsciousness is bound to end with the sacrifice of many innocent people. This is the burden we must bear for making this decision, Teresa. Teresa was at a loss for words. Just a little while ago, she firmly believed herself capable of paying any price for the future of this world. Now that she'd finally become the leader of Shixel after experiencing countless setbacks and growing pains, no one would doubt her resolve and will when she made the promise. However, when the price wasn't hers to pay, she found herself incapable of giving an answer. Teresa suddenly opened her mouth yet failed to utter a single word. Every word she desired to speak felt like it weighed a ton. It was the weight of deciding the fate of countless people. I'm angry. They are absolutely detestable. But if we decide their fate like this, then does it make us any different from World Serpent? Yes, that's why this proposal was put aside. Even a real god has no right to determine a person's fate. It's a belief the anti-entropy has always stood by. Yet now, this unreasonable method seems to be our only choice. Our original operation to retake Earth is meaningless now, and our method to pinpoint the cocoon of finality has hit a wall. There isn't much time left for us to figure out another plan. Oh, terrible. I just find this hard to swallow. From where I stand, it's impossible for you to find a better answer. This is Kevin mocking us. I'd love to teach those useless pieces of trash a good lesson, and I'm eager to see them suffer. But are we really going to go all the way down this road and go along with the Project Stigma's heartless plan? Rather than taking it as Kevin's ridicule, it feels more like he's questioning us. If we're bound to abandon something for the sake of humanity and our civilization, what kind of answer would Kevin want us to come up with? Suddenly she recalled Kevin's calm and indifferent eyes while she confronted him. Right. He made his choice a long time ago. Project Stigma is his answer. Perhaps he isn't expecting an answer, and this isn't a test made specially for us. But we still must come up with an answer. Right. I'm remembering back then. Perhaps violence isn't the only solution to break apart the aggregation of dreamlands. When I was ensnared by Project Stigma, I did somehow realize I was in a dream. So it seems that Spiritual Adam isn't as indestructible as we thought. A while later. By disrupting Project Stigma's main net again, we can seize the opportunity to sneak into Spiritual Adam, get into and break open the sealed dreamlands, and cause a chain reaction that disintegrates the dreamlands. While the dreamlands are being shaken up, push forward the anchoring in normal space and help some people return to reality. At the same time, try to pinpoint the cocoon of finality's location. And in theory, if the first step goes well, then the rest should work. There's only one question left. How do we break them open from the inside? Well, realizing I was dreaming in the Stigma space created an opportunity for me to break out of the dreamland. And since the strength of the dreamland relies on the rejection of reality, We just have to somehow make its owner accept reality. Then even a sturdy dreamland will be weakened, right? But the dreamland is far more enticing than reality to some people. Oh. The idea of yours really just might work, Teresa. Nani? Think about it. Since the dreamland is far more enticing than reality, to some people, we just have to help them realize their dreams outside of Project Stigma. Wouldn't that flip the relationship between reality and the dreamlands for Project Stigma's aggregation of dreamlands? I can't keep up with your train of thought. Why will that reverse the relationship between reality and dreamland? Just think about it like this. Let me dull it down for you, you little nit brain. They crave the dreamland because they actually have their own desires, right? So if we make them realize that the dreamland cannot satisfy their desires, it would arouse their desire to create a new world. And once that happens, the aggregation of dreamlands that they were once reluctant to leave would become a very real shackle. In this way, wouldn't they reject the aggregation of dreamlands itself? In other words, guide them to think about creating something of their own so they naturally become enemies of spiritual Adam. It should be far milder than actually becoming enemies, but it's definitely a form of non-cooperation. Yes, true creation is definitely a form of rebellion against the collective unconsciousness. It's worth a shot. But if we go in this direction, I'm afraid there's no turning back. Why? That makes sense, actually. If this approach is effective, then the randomness in the plan itself will definitely lead to an outcome beyond our control. If luck isn't on our side and a second, stronger spiritual Adam is born by chance, then everything we've done will be in vain. Does that make it even worth a shot? I'm not advocating for taking risks. Take our previous discussion for example. Destroying the dreamlands by force seems reliable, but it requires a lot of firepower and the risk involved is unpredictable too. We can't even rule out the possibility that Kevin would interfere. So from a technical perspective, it's actually difficult for us to determine which plan is better. If that's the case, why don't we select a plan that's much more human? Or perhaps we can say that once the first step is a success, it'll actually be a process of verifying if humanity is worth saving. Dr. Tesla, the anger you precisely displayed was not unwarranted. If mankind is always being rescued unilaterally, then we are no different from a bunch of hamsters in captivity. Lacking the ability to survive independently and the will to change the world, humans like that are not worth saving. Okay. I should have realized that you're actually a ruthless person deep down, eh? No, my belief is the possibilities and nature of humans is just greater than yours. I believe that mankind is worth saving. Otherwise, why would Kiana and the others repeatedly think that this world can be a better place? In fact, if that is untrue, could Project Stigma's dreamland ever create so many sweet dreams for all of them? Einstein's correct. I may have said that there's no turning back, but if we believe in the goodness in mankind, then it is something worth trying. It is a fight against Project Stigma, and a battle between the human, self, and abstract. Then this battle, which will determine the fate of mankind, should be waged by all of mankind. Even the children. I didn't expect a casual thought of mine would give birth to this much discussion. But now that everyone agrees with this plan, it's decided. Go forward with this plan that I don't exactly know what's going to happen, but they won't let us down. It seems time to decide who will be entering the Dreamlands. In theory, the more we send, the better our chances, but nothing is easy at first, and we need someone to lead the operation. That person must have sufficient tolerance to Sigma space, be able to avoid being lost in the Dreamland, and persuasive and convincing in speech. Isn't there someone like that right in front of you? Are you talking about yourself? No. But don't the worlds retaken by Durandal's group have to be anchored to you? Well, I'm sure Siegfried can take care of that just as well. He's been standing by all this time, so I'm sure he's dying for some action. As for the coordination in combat, I'm certain Rita, Nagamitsu, Amber, and the others will make the right decisions. But Spiritual Adam's interior is still unknown to us. Oh, the power of Vishnu! That makes you the best candidate for the job. It's my trump card. But besides these objective reasons, don't you think you forgot something? I may not have a lot of teaching experience, but I'm still the principal of Saint Freya. That's true. You've done very little principling and or teaching. Now we're hit with the most philosophical question in the game. Why do birds fly? Eren Yeager. Few would ever ask such an unnecessary question. Perhaps the birds, even if they could speak, wouldn't be able to explain it. Similarly, even if humans realized that they only had true freedom over how they die, they would not be able to explain why it is their only freedom. And they would never be able to provide a definite answer for it. But a long time ago, when the world was still foreign to mankind, they still wanted to explore everything unknown in this world, and they refused to accept any questions that were without answers. So when a certain person looked up at the sky, he would ask, "Why do birds fly?" A speech about it was being held here. If time was turned back by 1,000 years, every philosopher would be the pioneer of civilization, remembered in history in different ways. Sages whose wisdom transcended time, that was what they were called. But they were no different from infants to the man. The man, the myth, the Kevin. It wasn't due to his nature. After experiencing it all, younglings like them couldn't cause a single wave in his heart. Of course, I too consider it to be an unnecessary question. They are born to fly, just like we are born with many instincts. They are gifts from God. But even then, we can only explain why birds can fly, yet we do not know why they wish to fly. Someone seemed to be quietly shushing, as it sounded like a meaningless argument. Hear me out! Every one of us present here today was born with the ability to see, to hear, to travel, and to conquer. But it is a right, and we've seen many who've chosen to give up that right. But why? Why have we never seen birds give up flying? Everything quieted down. Everything quieted down. So, this brings me to my number one point. Everyone, if we were lucky enough to return to the origin of the world and see the first bird, it was definitely without wings. What it possessed at that time wasn't a pair of wings obtained from praying to the gods, but a heart as lofty as the moon, which yearned to touch the zenith. What the fuck are you saying? What the hell? Sorry? What it possessed at the time wasn't wings, obtained from praying to God, but a heart as lofty as the moon, which yearned to touch the zenith. Suck my nuts. Suck my nuts with that. Say something straightforward, please. Motherfuckers. Just saying words at this point. Just saying words. That's very brave of him. Did it make sense? Nah. As he'd expected, his speech immediately caused a commotion in the crowd. After all, in this God-fearing age, there was little support for thoughts like this. But of course, it wouldn't bring him any harm, so the man wasn't very worried. According to Sue, it was how the era is. Countless different thoughts were clashing against each other, and they would form common beliefs that led the civilization forward. It was why they must go to the people and listen to what they had to say. Sue, he should be almost done. A long time had passed since the two of them returned as pioneers and started helping the new generation reshape their civilization. With the help of their long lifespans and transcendent knowledge, they deftly entered history, aiding its development in secret. He did not turn around to verify if his companion was still behind him. They had made a promise to always be by each other's side no matter what. He never doubted that promise. But it seems to have taken slightly longer this time. The man raised his hand and checked it briefly, but cold did not seep out from there, even until he finished in listening to the speech. Clearly, he was getting better at controlling his own body temperature. Just like his growth in this aspect, everything else would take a turn for better. That was what he thought, even if it was too late for him, regardless of which aspect took a turn for the better. It's time to take a look somewhere else. He began to lose interest in everything here. He had always considered the topic discussed before him meaningless. For the sake of the grander goal, and with Sue and his help, civilization would consider the mistakes they made and take a better path forward. But on some very rare days, a thought like this passed his mind. Is humanity destined from birth to take the same path? Perhaps the guidance I provide them is just my own wishful thinking. Yes. Yes, Kevin. You should not be alive. You have ruined everyone's life, by the way. It was a very distant memory for him. Unlike his companion, the man who was not affected by a certain effect and hence didn't remember every moment of his life, actually, even the absolutely important memories from 50,000 years ago required frequent recollection to remain in his memory. Everyone has experienced something similar. No matter how important a person or event may be, memories of them blur in time. That is an admonition of the flesh, which often gives birth to self-hatred. Even he has no exception. Only those were long-lost memories of mine. Have they returned to me upon my entrance into this place? He looked around. Within the darkness was a surging dreamland formed by billions of minds. It was known as spiritual Adam. When one was in it while conscious, its clear outline would appear. It matters not. It's of no importance. Indeed, in his opinion, the memory shared certain attributes with his current actions. Reshaping civilization. It had been his job for thousands of years. Even if he was still aware of Project Stigma's potential results, the man acted just the same. He habitually wished to witness that world that revolved by his own hands. No, I can't go to the ones that I don't want to go. Birds can fly because they were ambitious? Pretty much, yeah. Pretty sure that's the meaning that was found. これは死んでる何ですが. Oh, it has an awakened memory, but your dreamland. What is that? Enemies, guys? Oh, Kevin. No fun with this guy, dude. No fun with this man. Just killing shit. Tap the button to switch to Teresa's POV. Alright. Not long ago. Only boundless darkness lay ahead. Teresa walked slowly through the boundless void as the darkness swallowed her footprints. Countless noisy whispers and faint flickering lights surrounded her. They were reflections of the dreamlands traces humans left behind in Project Stigma. It was the first time Teresa realized that even light can be oppressive and heavy like the ocean's depths. She just walked silently. As time passed, bright light appeared before her eyes. Here we go. Alright. Fucking Adam. Kill Adam, now. Adam, die, now. Fuck, that's a bright screen, holy crap. It's school! And Teresa fits in because she's a fucking child. Similar dreamlands may attract each other and intersect, so that's it. These children may be strangers to each other, but their similar desires gave them the same dream. Only a dream where they can have fun at school without any restraint. Isn't that quite disrespectful to their teachers? Of course Teresa would go to a place where teaching is the thing. Oh bro, Teresa, you're only half a head taller than them. God damn it, get taller please. What should we do next? Illustrations. Fair enough. Hide and seek. I haven't played hide and seek in so long. Bro, if you guys decide on a location, that defeats the purpose of hide and seek. You can't say, let's go play hide and seek, and then both of you go, let's go over there. That's... Now you're just both in the same location and found each other. But these guys don't know how to play fucking hide and seek. What the fuck? One hides, the other seeks. You don't decide on a communal location. Jesus Christ. Fucking idiots. Oh, sugoi na. The children are having fun, to a certain extent, obviously. I can't bear to disturb this happy dream of theirs. Teresa? That's like the one job you came here to do, was to disturb the dream? I can't bear it. I can't do it. Immediately fails to do her job. But children, if your dreams are only dreams, then your dreams have lost their value. Oh, I can't bear it. Do it. Oh, it's beautiful. Great. Is that Lyle? I think it's his model, though. Oh, maybe it is. Oh, no, he doesn't have the leg. That boy! He has drawn the attention of many other children. Perhaps this is the opportunity for change. You kill that boy. Hi, nice to meet you. Are you here to watch me paint too? Well, I'll even consider teaching you if you'd like to learn. Well, let me see. Not bad, but it's not good enough. Who are you? Are you jealous because I'm better than you? I've seen numerous paintings, rather, so I can immediately spot the flaws in your painting with just a glance. You're just a little older than me. There's nothing to be proud of. How childish. Your painting is missing something very important. I'm all ears. You copied this shit from an adventure storybook, right? I've read it too. Yeah, so what? It's an exact copy, even if its colors are the same. Then I'm sure you remember the favorite line of that book's protagonist, right? I will soar across the world and leave my name over every inch of the sky. The protagonist traveled through every country on his ship, leaving the memory of him and his ship in the minds of the locals wherever he went. Yes, it's why I really admire him. I intend to become a great explorer just like him. But I don't see you in this painting of yours. You've merely reproduced his dream without any changes. How will you ever become a qualified adventurer like this? The boy's dreams were shattered. The two in the heat of the argument attracted the attention of even more, and before they knew it, they were surrounded by children. Yes! Perfect. As the scope of discussion expands, these children will find their own opportunity for change, and they will affect all who are intertwined with this dreamland. As these thoughts ran through Teresa's mind, a soft voice came from her side. Are you a teacher? Yes, I'm the principal of another school. Did you hear what we discussed? Yes, you said the people in books can be our models and goals, but they are not our shackles and limits. Is this child fucking Herodotus? Socrates? Jesus Christ. The child's just spitting bars. The people in our books can be our models and goals, but they are not our shackles and limits. Pulling out fucking bars from fucking books and shit, dude. What the fuck? A true adventurer surpasses the footsteps of their predecessors and goes further and further until their dreams reach the skies that no one has ever ventured into. Yes, just like that. Countless adventurers have followed their dreams for years upon years to bring humanity to such a prosperous state. That is civilization. Then, little teacher, how do we become true adventurers? Ooh, burn. I'm a mature adult, I shouldn't argue with children. It's very simple, actually. Step number 1, to become an adventurer is waking up from your own dreams. Everyone dreams, and we can imagine anything in our dreams. But that is not enough, because compared to what we can do, or what we can dream of now, there are plenty of interesting things hidden in this world that we can't even dream of. What? Unfortunately, even I do not know. Huh. You're a liar. I'm not lying, actually. I don't know because they haven't been created yet. They are in deep sleep at the bottom of your hearts. The bottom of our hearts? Yes. You are full of novel imagination and curiosity. Your hands can create a future that no one has ever imagined, and your passion will take your dreams higher and higher. As long as you have the courage to take that first step, you never stop searching and creating that which does not exist yet. Then, even if it seems worthless in the eyes of others, you will still become an adventurer in the end. But if you do not try, no one will see the sparkling and colorful paintings you create. Oh, that would be such a pity. That which does not exist yet in paintings. Right! What about this? I'm not only going to paint the ship greater than the one in the book, I will build it myself and soar into the sky with it. Oh, that sounds so cool. I want to build a big ship with you too. Why is he called Hyperbolic Boy? Why is that his full legal name, Hyperbolic Boy? Jesus Christ. Hey, if the Teresa next battle suit is tall, community would explode. I'd love a tall Teresa. I think a tall Teresa would be great. What a name, Hyperbolic Boy. Me too! The children got into an animated discussion and started painting on paper with great gusto. Some of them started to run around in search of materials from all over the school. The edges of the dreamland started to blur because of this. It was like the small ripples created by a pebble tossed into a lake. I'm blind. It might be a small step, but changes were certainly occurring quietly. This is all I can do for now. Now it's all up to you. Or it's up to all of you, rather. I believe in all of you because the world will change because of you. Fuck, I hate the widescreens in all of MiHoYo games. If they don't stop fucking doing widescreens, I'm gonna go blind clinically. Jesus Christ. Holy crap. Just widescreen, man. Just fucking widescreening. It's honestly, it should be changed to like widescreen of death because I fucking die. Not my PC, but I die. How strange! The dreamland on the other side seems a little different. Silver lights floated slowly through the darkness of the void. As she looked along the floating marks in the dreamland, Teresa noticed a familiar figure. What are you doing here, Seely? I learned of your plan from Dr. Einstein, so I came to see if I could be of help. According to the doctor, my ability to sense bubble universes may be quite useful for the aggregation of dreamlands. So I volunteered to come here and give it a try. I'm not causing you any trouble, right? No, of course not. The ability to sense bubble universes, which is to say you can sense which dreamlands are weaker or have a greater influence on the aggregation of dreamlands, right? Well, if the doctor's deductions are accurate, then I think that should be it. Well, that's great news. It's like having an all-knowing guide. I'm counting on you. Okay. Another dream. This is Night City. Is there something wrong? This place overlaps with a particular scene in my memories and makes me feel a little emotional. It was a very long time ago, and at that time, a friend and I sneaked out and started wandering aimlessly on a street like this one. We didn't go anywhere. All we did was stroll about while chatting, but that is one of my happiest memories. I can tell that friend is very important to you. She is the light I've been seeking all of my life. Alright, instead of reminiscing, let's focus on the operation at hand. Let's split up and find out more about the dreamland from the people here. Honestly, Night City! Good morning, Night City! Okay, pure silence. Incredible. Man spacing out. Woman spacing out. Everyone's spacing out. Okay. Staring at the sky. Everyone here is emotionless, just like in Night City. Peculiar. The atmosphere here is very strange. Everyone seems to be in a daze of some sort. They're either daydreaming or unwilling to pay attention to others. Why would such a dream even exist? I should see how Seely's doing. You know why it exists? Because these are people that have worked all their lives and they just want a simple nothing happening. Who the fuck are you? That's none of your business. What's happening here, buddy? I noticed that she seemed to be in great pain, so I asked if she needed help, but... You're with her? Both of you stay away from me. Calm down, we just want to talk, lady. We have no intention to hurt you. She just wants to stay away, buddy. Why do you even bother with this? Just be frank and tell her she's dreaming. All of this is a dream. Whoa, 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 whoa. The agitated woman blinked without a shred of surprise. On the contrary, she seems exhausted. Is that so? You understand me? I said all of this is a dream. You're trapped in a dream. This isn't reality. We're here to wake you up, lady. Why? Even if what you said is true, why must I wake up? Reality is painful enough. Why must you deprive me of my right to dream? That look of absolute despair on the woman's face was all too familiar to Teresa. Many years ago, she saw the same expression on her own face when she looked in the mirror. It's that kind of dream, I see. People grow up and realize that the world is far less beautiful than they imagined as a child. Reality is full of helplessness, injustice, suffocating pain. When they fail to change the situation, no matter how hard they try, they will instinctively seek escape. They give up on thinking, numb their hearts, and hide in their own worlds. This dreamland is oppressive but quiet because its owner does not believe there is any hope ahead and has fallen into endless stagnation. Dreams do not contain the happiness they once yearned for because they stopped dreaming in reality. It is why this dream is so stable. This is the only home for those who have been taken over by despair in reality. So, it's impossible to wake them. Why don't we use physical means to resolve this? No, I still want to try, because I was once trapped in a similar dream. At that time, I hadn't found the meaning of my existence yet. As an artificial life, I was unable to blend into other groups and could only live on numbly. I was just like them at that time. I had no dreams and I would anticipate nothing. But it was also then that I met the friend I mentioned earlier. She was just like me. She grew up in a dark room and could only learn about the world from books. But unlike me, even though we lived in the world of limited space, she always came up with the wild ideas. She brought me all sorts of strange gifts, showed me the flowers she grew, the nest she made for the birds, and even sneaked out with me in the dead of the night. At that time, she said to me, the more people suppress themselves, the more they yearn for happiness. The failure to get what they desire causes them to temporarily lose all courage to move forward. All they need is an opportunity, perhaps the story which moves their heart, a piece of a melodious music, or a game that resonates with them. Honkai Impact. It's a moment that will reignite their hope to fight against the hardships of life and embrace the light of tomorrow. They've always had the courage and strength to overcome despair, but they just never realized it. She said that everyone is actually braver than they imagine. They are strong enough to face the unhappy realities of life and create new possibilities. You've spoken a lot, Teresa, about yourself, but you don't understand me, because I'm emotional. You're right. You're the one who knows yourself best, of course. But what you once yearned for, and the dreams you once sought, you remember how you felt then. It is the source of your courage, your motivation to go forward, and it is your heart. Staying here won't bring you satisfaction. It'll just be a meaningless waste of time. You should give your heart another chance, shouldn't you? The emotional woman was too stunned to speak. She opened her mouth, but failed to utter a single syllable. A tear rolled down her face while reflecting the glow of the street lights. You. Alright, it's time for us to leave. She hasn't even done anything. Just words alone can never make people change their minds. But the perspective I provided just now must have created an impact. That is sufficient for an adult to start making changes. Thank you for teaching me all that, Cecilia. Wow. And there it is, boys. Words. Meaning. Prophecy. Philanthropy. Philosophy. Watchpoint Gibraltar. The trifecta. Incredible. On to the next one. 2 out of 3 dreams done. The beach. Beach, let's go to the beach. Waves hit the beach as the warm midday sun covered everything in rays of lazy sunlight. The huts scattered around the area weren't luxurious. Conversely, they were so simple that they seemed out of place in a sweet dream. I didn't expect to see a dreamland like this. It feels so realistic. But if so, why must anyone rely on a dream to realize this? Well, I don't know, but looking at how empty it is, I guess its owner is someone without desires. We can't just stay here and guess. We should look around for, we should look for this dreamland's owner and ask about this place. See, now I'm, for some reason, not inclined to talk to an elderly woman who's on a beach. But for some reason, I'm also just not inclined to believe that old men and women are the ones wanting to go to a beach. But, who knows? What's up, old lady? Oh, you two here to convince him to wake up from this dream? Oh. Him. You know this is a dream? I do. Unfortunately, I cannot help you. This isn't my dream. I'm just a family member that someone else imagined. After all, the fear of loneliness increases with age. Do you know how to end this dream? I'm afraid it'll take quite a bit of effort. After all, he won't live for long without this dream. And Nani? Maybe it is that old man. He's been bedridden for years before arriving here. Even the doctor said that he won't last to see another winter. Most of the others in this dream are in similar situations. So I have a question for the two of you. For those who still have hope, leaving this dreamland is a blessing of the brave. But what about those who have no future? Now this is a question. Old man, wake up, you fucking idiot. Looking at the elderly nearby, delicate like a candle flame in the wind, the two were speechless. After a while, Teresa sighed lightly. Let's give it a crack, eh? After all, this dream may go beyond the choices of a few. It affects the shared fate of billions. Hello, youngsters. Nice to meet you, sir. We're here too. She hesitated for a moment and found herself unable to convey the cruel truth. It's been a long time since someone came here. Have a seat. I may not have anything expensive, but I have plenty of snacks for the children. Thank you for your hospitality, but it's alright. We're just perusing. Oh, now don't be shy. It's fate that brought us together. I rarely have any guests, so let me be a good host to you. It really isn't necessary. We're not staying for long, so you don't have to go through all the trouble. Because this dream, this is just a dream of mine? Yes. Because this is just... This old man knows where he is, youngsters. Staying together on a peaceful beach with the love of my life while listening to the waves lapping? To me, this is an extravagant dream. With age, people realize that what they truly want is the most ordinary, calmest, and peaceful days. I made many mistakes in my youth, and I wasted a lot of time. Now that I'm old, bedridden, and relying on a machine to keep myself barely alive, it finally dawned on me how precious the ordinary things I once took for granted are. I'm willing to exchange everything I have in return for this fake dream. Even then, you still wish to take it from me. Yeah, honestly, yeah. You're dying, dude. Just elbow him, elbow drop him, I don't know. Your time's up, brother. Both of them fell silent. They found it impossible to formulate an answer to such a difficult question. The silence went on until slightly familiar yet clamorous noise resounded from afar. The two Chads. No way, we agreed that the first one to get there gets 2 pieces of cake. Those two running over are Rosalia and Lilia. When we came to our senses, we found ourselves in the belly of a whale. Rosa, let me finish the story. Look who's there. And Teresa. Are you finally here to take us back? What the hell are you two doing here? Alright, the people you've been waiting for are finally here. Have some cake and celebrate. The old man bent down to retrieve 2 small cakes from a box and smiled as he passed them to the twins, watching them gobble the cakes down. This old man, She took a deep breath and finally made up her mind. But as soon as she turned around, she saw the smile on the old man's face. The old man watched as Teresa's expression changed incessantly from serious to hesitant, sorrowful to solemn, and then resolute. In the end, he couldn't stop himself from chuckling. Alright, I'll stop teasing you. When I meet such energetic youngsters, I just can't help myself from teasing and testing your resolve. Forgive this old bag of bones. Are you here to take these 2 children home? Yes, we are. It seems like it's time for me to wake up from this beautiful dream. Once this dream is over, you'll... Yes, I'll be back on the hospital bed. I'll be paralyzed and bedridden again, and I won't have much time left. But tell me, what will happen if I refuse to end this dream? Well, the old man glanced lovingly at the Olenyevas. I've lived more than 80 years, and I've experienced most of what this world has to offer. But they are different. They are young, energetic, and hopeful. If youngsters like them are trapped in this constant dream, it would be an absolutely cruel fate. In this world, the old should give way to the young. That's why Kevin, the 50,000-year-old piece of dust and bones, needs to fuck off. That 50,000-year-old man needs to fuck off. Jesus Christ, this 80-year-old guy's like, oh, I can't do it anymore. Just get rid of me. This 50,000-year-old man over here, though, you know what? I think I'll stick around for a few more, you know, just really solidify myself as the king of it all, you know? Fucking piece of crap. No, sir. We won't ask you to abandon this dreamland. I think such a dreamland isn't wrong. The ones who are wrong are the ones who give up even when they aren't the one at the end of their lives yet. I believe in you. I believe that you'll take good care of the other youngsters just as you've taken care of the 2 little girls. and you will do as you've done now. You'll tell them that life awaits them outside of the dreamland. I plan to say that it's time to face my own reality and complete my journey in this life. But I didn't expect to hear that more youngsters are in need of our help. Alright then, it's time to show these youngsters how unyielding the elderly can be. These lives of ours haven't been lived in vain. Great. Tell the old man that choosing to wake up would be very meaningful to the entire world. That'd motivate him, right? I guess that's what happened. I guess that is just technically what happened. But someone needs to say to Kevin, the fucking dense piece of brick shit fucking ass. God damn, I hate that man. Oh my god, Adam's dying. The Sea of Light remains silent no more. In the boundless darkness, tens of thousands of dreams clamored and churned like a huge beast awakening from its slumber and freely stretching its body. A glimmer of light broke away from the ball of light and floated up into the darkness. A soul that faintly flickered between pink and blue lay within it. After that, more and more soared up into the air, like a scattered Milky Way vanishing before their eyes. Is this an earthquake? It's a sign that we're finally about to leave these dreams. I'll take you both somewhere safe. Then what about Teresa? Celia and I have more work to do. These dreams have only just begun to disintegrate. We still have much work to do and need help from more people. We'll help too then. This time, I'll have to agree with Rosalia. Just like that, the squad tasked with liberating the dreams grew. The Valkyries and volunteers in the dreams did their best to fight back against Spiritual Adam. But Project Stigma was not that simple. The situation is the same, even for Kevin. Kevin Schmevin. Kevin was planning to stick around for a few billion more years, imprisoning finality till the planet itself is gone. Quite the obstinate fossil. Quite the piece of human garbage as well, you know what I mean? Quite the fucking asshole. Oh, who's gonna listen to Kevin though? Lol. Let's head home. But I could have done better. It's good enough for me. I've always been proud of you. Don't cry, it's alright. It isn't a great school anyway. Yeah, Kevin, that's a great dream, by the way. Good job, buddy. It's fine. Everything else can be pushed aside, but this concert is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'll help you with the bed check anyway. But I'm afraid. There's an old guy staring at us over there. Maybe we should leave. Yo, Kevin, stop being weird. Kevin just rocks up. Hello? I'm looking at you. Hello? I'm staring at you. Don't mind me. Have a conversation. Come on, Kevin. Have some fucking panache or some shit. I don't know. Come over here and help me with my hairpin. These are two straight hairpins, not a cross-shaped hairpin. Why did you put both of them on? Sure. He said he had overtime the last time too. You know how their project is going? Let's just go. Who are these guys? There isn't a queue to get a number for this store today. Is it not popular anymore? This will do. Maybe this was a good beginning for his journey. Indeed, everything was normal. Just normal. People were still repeating mistakes they should have made. Pardon me, sorry. Suffering failures they tried their best to avoid, and shrouded by small instances of joy and sorrow day after day. But such mediocrity was what a certain era yearned for yet could not attain. In this world that faced Honkai as well, it was such a similar desire. Young man, would you like an extra egg? Fuck yes, I'd love an extra egg, dude. I love eggs. For that reason, Project Stigma could be called the worst, just like Honkai. Young man? But the man was aware that he has no other choice, and he never had one. Your ramen is ready. The man moved his scrutinizing gaze away from himself and toward the world. He noticed the ramen cart sign and the other customers lined up behind him. He remained silent and planned to leave, but the owner held a bowl of noodles towards him. It was so close that the steam from the bowl blurred his eyes. That's like here. Bro, the man's holding the fucking bowl of ramen in his fucking jaw, essentially. Like, you're gonna say, what the fuck? That it can blur his eyes? Fucking hell. He's huffing noodle juice. The man knew that he was supposed to take it with his hands. Besides himself, everyone he knew had considered what his life would be like when he finally purged Honkai from this world. Some thought that death was the best outcome for him, as he was truly lonely. Some thought he'd finally be able to let go, change his name, and have a bowl of ramen while seated before a simple house and spend the night recalling the smiles of some people. Others thought he could still act as a mentor for the new age and redeem himself once more. Even he acknowledged that these futures were not far-fetched. In fact, at a certain point in time, a very long time ago, they had all briefly been his aspiration. But, in actuality, from the moment Project Sigma was completed, he hadn't planned any future for himself. He had searched for a place to bury himself, but that was for another reason. Those lives others had imagined were truly peaceful ones. Sorry, there's no need. That ramen was superb. I think delicious was a good word, but I want superb. He walked away. Peace belonged to those who put an end to everything, not to those who became the end itself. Incredible. Ramen got his attention. Listen, ramen's great, and ramen can take everyone's attention. I'll be honest, if you say ramen to me, no matter where I am, I'll probably chime up. Ramen? Oh. End of the world? Oh. Ramen? Oh. You know? That's just what ramen does to me. I might have a bowl of ramen after this as well. Or just noodles. Oh, not the fucking philosophers again. Motherfuckers. Oh, I have to read their drivel. As I mentioned before about birds and shit, right? Character is destiny. It hadn't been long since he last met the philosopher, but today the number of his audience declined drastically. The man couldn't recall when he came into the habit of frequenting his place, but he was sure of one thing. The philosopher was also a fool trapped in this age. Even a utopia designed by the greatest minds would fail over the passage of thousands of years. He was a perfect example of that, in both ways. He was undoubtedly quite ordinary, and his companion used to tease him for being slow-witted. But once he gained a time that far surpassed that of a normal person, he could even look down upon the most outstanding minds of any era. Perhaps he was here to get a better view of the era's shallowness and make up his mind on something. There's no good or bad destiny, but the same can't be said about character. So who? I once had a friend. No, you didn't. Stop lying to yourself. Perhaps he was talented in certain aspects, but he was quite slow and became used to relying on the decisions of others. It was due to his character. Thus, he chose an outstanding mind, a heart worth following, and then he obeyed the person's decisions and treated that person's destiny as his own. For him, was the discourse of a character is destiny still true? Oh, forgive me, my eyes aren't what they used to be. Can you come closer? Young man, have you met a hero? Have you met a hero? No, I am one. I've met hundreds! No, not the ones in your mind. Perhaps you still remember that I once said there is only a single ideal in this world, trampling the ideals of others. All ideals must trample on the ideals of others to be realized. If you do not agree, it's because you have not realized it. According to this standard, people fall into two types. Those who have done so are considered heroes, and the rest are just ordinary. The man was not convinced. In an arrogance cultivated from his long life, his first reaction was the philosopher had experienced little and knew nothing. Hasten not, young man. I am not done yet. Everyone wants to be a hero, but we know that if everyone was a hero, we could only imagine what a terrible place the world would be. So, another type of hero was born. Their ideals are completely different. They wish for their ideals to be trampled upon instead. And the rules by which the world operates are actually upheld by them. And that's the type of hero Kevin became. One where his ideals are to be trampled. We are in the... Where is this? I can't remember. I don't know what it's called. Engraved tombstone. The body of 007 rests here. His death saved an entire city from the ravages of Honkai beasts. It is because of his soul flowed into the grave the earth shall become the richer than the sky. Is that Otto? Her sacrifice allowed civilization to carry on. Hey? Ominous. Very ominous. Is that, what's her face's grave, eh? Kiana? No. Kiana's grave? Or stone tablet, prophecy tablets? I can't remember what it said. Otto and Kiana? No. Or is one of them Kevin? I'm not sure. This is a hero who changed the world. Reflect on his fault and memorize his merits. For he was also mortal. And that one's Kevin. Incredible. Obviously, what stood here was not a ruined building, but a grand tombstone. The reason it was so big is obvious as well. Those laid in eternal rest here were heroes acknowledged by the world. And they were all the humans in this dreamland. But this world, the man gazed at the endless expanse of sand around him, and he knew there was nothing but patrolling monsters here. If everyone was a hero, we could only imagine what a terrible place the world would be. Indeed, his words can be considered prophetic. But I still find it difficult to accept that such a person can be called a hero. The outcome here is reality, not a dream. As he said, the dreams created by Project Stigma might have their own limitations, but they were not restricted by objective reality. It could be completely illogical, and all of this should have never occurred, provided it hadn't changed in any way. Yes. So far, my answer is yes. Kevin, cool. Everything else, sure. Fine. Fun. I'm not sure. Oh my god, he's going Super Saiyan? A warrior carrying the power of Vishnu. What, is Kevin gonna walk in and just fucking trample on all the fun that I've had in the past while? Forgive me. I don't know who the fuck you are. Kaslana. I've never heard of this name. I've heard all of your speeches. All of them. The philosopher was almost at the end of his life, so it was impossible for someone who had heard all of his speeches to be so young. Why? I'm not sure either, buddy. Actually, there are some among my acquaintances whose visions far exceed yours. I should have recalled every word of her before deciding on my course of action, but I can't. While I attempt to resolve the issue of this era, I must follow its perspective. Regardless, I acknowledge your wisdom and understand your narrow-mindedness. I've considered the issues you've raised and found my own answers. But what I want to know is this. As the pinnacle of wisdom in the last 100 years, what is the answer you have come to after a lifetime of thinking? My answer? Why do birds fly? His eyes reflected the old man's confused expression. No one could contemplate a single question for a lifetime. No one but Kevin. No one else had been able to go through life with such a simple initial goal. But regardless, the old man still remembered what he'd said in his youth. Because they desire to soar into the sky. But that's impossible. That is just a romanticist's wishful thinking. I have a similar idea. The desire to go beyond childhood. But desiring it doesn't mean that they can make it happen. Then what is your opinion, Kevin? Because they must soar into the sky. It had been around 3,000 years since Kevin harnessed the power of finality. But he already had the answer by then. When the meteor of finality crashed during the Cretaceous period. Oh, we're going back to dinosaurs! During the Cretaceous period, only the birds flying freely escaped the inevitable extinction. I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. But I can tell you seem to believe in survival of the fittest. The outcome will be the touchstone of everything, and victory justifies all. So, young man, allow me to give you one final speech before I pass away on the spot. After I say these words, I will die. I'm going to tell you the story of a man named Icarus, and let you know that some fly just to fall. That's Kevin. Have the Dreamlands fallen into chaos? Good. It seems so. It's been some time since Teresa left. Someone is trying to create something here. It's someone I've never met! Also, another one here to help. He doesn't look like a nice person, though. That's right, our little teacher didn't look nice at first either. I don't think that's the problem here. What are you doing? I bet you'll be surprised. We're about to build a really huge ship, one that can fly to the ends of the sky and edges of the ocean. We're going to fly a ship that exceeds everyone's imagination, and fly to places that no one has ever been to. What do you think? Want to come with us? I can carve your name up there too. It just happens that some materials are too heavy. You're carrying out a difficult task. There must be a reason for it. Because it's boring without change. Our little teacher said that a true adventurer dared to take the first step. Well, if you're not interested, we'll just do it ourselves. See ya. He was well aware that once a thought came into being, it was impossible to fully eliminate. Thoughts were the freest and hence the most dangerous thing in his world. Or in this world. It is not your power, but the desire you created for them that just made them change for this place. Made them want changes for this place. Birds wish to soar into the sky, so they made themselves wings. Just as what the philosopher said. But this is far from enough to undo Project Stigma. Even if you give them an opportunity to even if you give them an opportunity and create the desire for changes, whether they can successfully break out of the dreamland still depends on themselves. Do you really believe that these ordinary people have the ability and determination to change the world? No. It was exactly because you believed in them that you gave it your all to plant such an idea in their hearts. You must accomplish it yourselves, otherwise all of it would be meaningless. Yes. What the fuck are we breaking there? Presently, the shadow was still seeping out incessantly from spiritual Adam due to his own presence, and so the dreamland, which should not exist, kept flashing back from time to time. I know the story of Icarus. He made wings out of feathers with his craftsman father and tried to escape the island which imprisoned them. But he refused to heed his father's warning and flew to the height that he shouldn't have. The sun melted the wax which held the feathers in place, and so he drowned in the ocean. Oh, you're quite knowledgeable. But I think you haven't spoken to him like I have. Yes, he was a mythical figure just like you, and that's why he existed. He finally realized that he seemed to have underestimated the philosopher. Icarus is commonly regarded as being conceited, and people believe he lost his life in an unfortunate accident. But what if he'd dreamed of doing that for many years? When he was still very young, he once said, "I will soar into the sky and embrace my success by falling." Their ideals were completely different. They wished for their ideals to be trampled upon instead. He's the other type of hero you met. But what value does that bring? Provide a stairway for others to take, and use his own failure to warn others not to fly too high. It's the opposite. He wanted to prove something. I've flown near the sun, a place that no one has ever reached. So perhaps someone can surpass me. So, why do birds fly? Because they saw the first bird try to touch the zenith with a heart as lofty as the moon, yet fall to its death on the ground. Because they saw other birds make similar attempts and soar higher and higher. So, birds still soar across the sky now. Which bird was he? He did not know. but for some reason a basketball rolling on the ground came to his mind. Icarus did not fail. His descent was the result of his flight and proof of another type of success. Even if it was a very narrow-minded way of looking at things, a romanticist's wishful thinking. But perhaps it was the only rule that made the world spin. Yes, in order to stop the sun from falling, I soared into the sky and stole your light. Fucking hell. A lot of fucking Icarus, eh? This is the logic of grown-ups when they transcend childhood, eh? What's up, Durandal? Do you comprehend this now? Person of Equinox. What a fucking name. Person of Equinox. Kinda sounded cool in Japanese. Tengen or something. Two of the strongest people stared at each other. They reached the limits of the human body in their respective eras, and they had undoubtedly taken completely different sides. Yet, now, there was nothing but silence. Logically speaking, this wasn't a normal form of silence, but a quiescence. Quiescence. Quiescence? Quiescence. It's a croissant formed from two great forces neutralizing each other. But in reality, it was silence. Previously, in order to observe the civilization he reshaped, just as he'd done so thousands of years ago, the man walked alongside time and searched for dreams of the past within his own shadow. Yet the girl in front of him was doing the opposite. She relentlessly tried to unveil the mysteries in search of the truth of the world. Perhaps because of their ambiguous differences, the two of them, surprisingly, took a mutually silent yet amicable attitude towards each other. But because of their contrasting allegiances, this silence born of a tacit understanding would never end in silence. After a long quietude, the blonde woman spoke first. Shall we sit down and have a chat? You don't often get the opportunity to interact with someone from this era, do you? Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes, because we're competitive, we try to be better and better. With that comes failure, but also progress. Exactly. Exactly. Kevin just does not understand. A comrade of mine once said, "We merely live in a cave underground, merely primitives, facing away from the entrance, sitting in chains, staring at the blank wall with the fire behind us. Occasionally, shadows are projected on the wall. Those shadows are the world to us. Shadows are everything to us." Are you referring to the special shadow beneath you? No, that is a phenomenon created by Chimera. Humans can only indulge in their dreams, but Honkai beasts can only think in their dreams. Chimera integrated the dreams of all Honkai beasts, and so created those shadows that corrupt human dreams. Well, if that was merely an analogy, then the issue is much simpler. What are you trying to say? Fuhua has left the cave you spoke of. And you can too. Perhaps I could, if Project Sigma did not exist. Fully integrating into your world, it does not require determination, but it is not difficult. What's truly difficult is casting aside everything after what I've done. You don't want to become Otto. Nice reference. I don't have to. Of course, perhaps in your eyes, I am just as prideful as him. After all, I've played the role of the coffin maker from the very beginning. In the days before the world ends, people will die in droves every single day. Obviously, so long as it's possible, everyone must rack their brains to produce a variety of caskets and build all sorts of cemeteries. It may not be beneficial to the survival of humanity, but it's necessary for civilization's sake. It isn't too different from Project Stigma, is it? Perhaps. Still, from a positive perspective, warriors will have letters prepared before going to war. They could be stationed in the barracks, the transport aircraft, or even on a train or a ship. Every one of them would write a letter that carries their hope toward the future and what they wish to entrust to the world. Whatever we do, as long as we have faith in it ourselves, we will never turn out to be meaningless. We fight to protect the good in this world and the things we deem important. They may seem small and insignificant, but that's only because they are seeds. These seeds that are destined for something good will one day blossom and thrive into a beautiful garden. No matter what, you've always been a part of it, Kevin. That's a little beyond the scope of my confidence. At the very least, we will still do our best to kill each other in the upcoming battle. Kevin, we were having a nice conversation about dreams and, oh yeah, I'll do my best and you'll do your best and we'll kill each other probably. It's a fact set in stone and the only way to defeat Honkai. I know. After all, your friend Sue, I think, has come to accept it. Then both of us have grown. Even without putting it into words, in my opinion, he thinks you're the most courageous and strongest person from that era. You stand before us and treat all things as insignificant, but that is because a true abyss lies behind you, and none can survive it. You cannot take a step back, nor can you take any risks, but even then, you entrusted the last bit of uncertainty to him, and to us. You don't have to validate me like this. I'm your enemy, nothing more, nothing less. I know, so if I have an opportunity to kill you in a fair fight, or maybe I should say kill the ideal you represent, my companions and I will not hesitate. That will be the best. Facing this man, who was frozen in time, reminded her of a classic monologue by a certain playwright. He was the noblest Roman of them all. All the conspirators save only he did that they did in envy of great Caesar. He only, in a general honest thought, and common good to all, made one of them. His life was gentle, the elements so mixed in him that nature might stand up, and say to all the world, this was a man. Beautiful. Hector knew the kingdom would eventually fall, and Achilles was aware that he was on his way to death. Yet both warriors stepped into battle just as fearless and bold. You took from our myths and left such a prophecy behind. Did you expect this battle from the very beginning? No, but I hope for it. He paused, but did not continue his words, and so the girl replied again. We believe in Kiana and all the Hershers who stand with humanity. Of course, from another perspective, we believe in you too. Interesting! As it was said, Kevin Kaslana was the name that was bound to be questioned and criticized. The power he possessed was at a height that no one could reach, but even such power wasn't reliable enough to face in the face of finality. He was once the leader of humanity, yet now he had pushed humanity to the brink of extinction with his own hands. His contributions and crimes were almost impossible to judge, but there was one thing that no one had ever denied. No matter how he lived or how he might die, Kevin Kaslana was a name that would always be human. Goodbye. Send my regards to the last Kaslana. That's her, by the way. Fair enough. Goodbye, first Kaslana. Incredible. The man walked away once he finished. As he turned around, that figure no longer belonged to the first Kaslana, but to the last Honkai. Truthfully speaking, to communicate with another as a human was an unexpected gift to this man. But that could not change anything, especially the project he'd taken on since a long time ago. Everything also remained the same for the girl who stayed. As she composed herself with deep breaths, the girl attempted to awaken something that had been long become one with her. The plan she sought to bring to fruition was similarly resistant to all external influences. And when this conversation between Kaslanas eventually turned into a conversation between warriors again, just like when they first met, she should hold her weapon tight. I can wield a blade as my weapon because only I can break it with my own hands. The man once made this judgment, but if he could see the girl now, clearly he would face a different answer. I can wield a blade as my weapon because I have become one with it. Regardless, the name Durandal held two meanings as well. As for the other, besides the girl herself, it represented power capable of splitting the continent. And thus, she ascertained a certain truth. That was Shakespeare? Oh my bad, I had no idea. I don't do playwrights. I don't do plays, and I don't do writes really. I don't do much except for play games. I had no idea. Also, using Dia in Korra as like as her like strong, is Dia in Korra her strongest suit like canonically, or I thought it was Paladiness. Fair enough. Dreams were as fragile as bubbles, so when this project of dreams took a turn, everyone felt nervous. Hello everyone, this is Rita. This is my 8th situation report. Thanks to the efforts of the Valkyries, the aggregation of dreams constructed by Project Stigma is showing signs of weakening. According to Nagamitsu's calculations, how things are going, after 35 days, this aggregation... I'm receiving new information. I apologize if the information I just provided was inaccurate. Based on the data Durandal-sama just obtained from Kevin Kaslana, according to the current model, the spontaneous disintegration of dreams will be mended by Kevin's shadows. Even though we've ingeniously stopped dreams from expanding and dwindled them instead, Kevin's shadows are completely different beings. What do you mean? Completely different beings. Get Nagamitsu here and tell her to explain. As expected. So you were listening. Hurry up and tell me what's going on. Basically, Kevin may be unaware of it, but his power of finality is using Honkai Beasts to mend what we call the aggregation of dreams. So, consciously or unconsciously, Honkai Beasts are being implanted into the people's dreams. You've previously received a report on this. Honkai Beasts rely on dreams to think, right? Yay, wasn't that just metaphorical? Indeed, but the metaphor itself provides a very good explanation of Kevin's current influence on the aggregation. The true way that humans think is by creating stories, not sharing fantasies. It is the fundamental reason why we have an opportunity to destroy the aggregation. But dreams are everything to the Honkai Beast, just like Stigma awakened nature of connecting things. It is why they became the natural adhesive agent for Project Stigma. Moreover, because they are completely unrelated to creation, the guidance we provide to ordinary people cannot be used on Honkai Beasts. I'm struggling right now, hold up. One second, we'll continue in just a second. I'm struggling. Ooh. Woo! God damn. DA equipped with the Holy Blade Rondel does indeed have the power to sever worlds. Okay, fair enough. I just thought maybe Paladins would be better because the power of Equinox. Okay. Anyway, I've sent you the specifics, please do take a look. So, even if every step of our plan goes smoothly, it's still too inefficient. What the heck? That Chimera is such a pain. But under such circumstances, can we still rely on Teresa-sama's ability to devour dreams? Theoretically speaking, it shouldn't be a problem, but it will probably be inadequate. God damn it. We almost had it! The expression she made at this moment was extremely rare for Rita, who always claimed to be a maid. Elegance isn't innate after all. It is a technique. Its basic requirement is calm restraint of emotions. But the possibility she thought of now was too ridiculous. So much so that it was like the ravings of a child, rather. Power of finality, dreamlands, shadows, cocoon. If you neglected their complicated backgrounds and considered them literally... She recalled the confident boastings she heard in the Bubble universe back when she was 17 years old. This is the grand project, it's almost flawless. It just lacks an executor. Become the breaker of the world. The nature of what we want to do is the same. We're merely expanding our target of destruction to the world. Since we can even treat dreams like material objects, then those shadows, just as how T-symmetry in geometry can change the location of its target from outside the circle to the inside of it, the same irritable voice brought the maid back from her thoughts. Considering the professionalism of the two professors, she decided to tell them about the ridiculous possibility. A supposition might seem absolutely absurd in the beginning, they were well aware of that. Actually, I've got a risky plan. I'm just not sure if it's technically feasible. Wouldn't it be obvious once you tell us about it? We know what it is. Oh, I'm blind! Jesus Christ! I'm so blinding! The desperate Tesla would never have imagined that. Their judgment... Fucking hell, so bright. Their judgment would entirely change the passive attitude humanity had against the power of finality. Of course, it is still required that the help of the different people with different types of powers. If one was to describe their plans in the most representative manner, only those with morals can love and hate. Those who pursue morality can do no wrong. Fuck, there we are. Why do they use white? Why must it be white? It's aware of the functions on high dimensions, similar to the sugar key from Alien Space manga. This is a massive callback to the Durandal VN. Yeah, I only watched a summary of that, so I don't know the specific details. Fair enough. It really is completely different now. At Mount Taishuan, far away from the anti-entropy HQ, the woman had a better view of the aggregation's weakening than the others after she returned. A bustling atmosphere is always the best. Unlike her experience while liberating the land, her descent from the sky even scared some children. This place was no longer so desolate due to the previous efforts. Despite her desire to slowly enjoy the scenery here like a tourist, the heroic woman's footsteps didn't stop for even a moment. She knew how important this visit was for that risky plan. I thought this was just 9 fucking stages. It feels like we've been doing like 80,000 stages. Holy crap. Oh, hello, Seely. Not Seely. Seely. Senti. Hello, Hirsch of Sentience. Am I not welcome here? Why do I need to welcome you? This isn't my home, nor is it yours. But it's the Great Master's home, and someone told me. Let's fight first. What's wrong? You've roamed the world, haven't you? Never seen a fight before? Even there, you need a good reason for a fight. I'm the Hirsch of Sentience. I know what you plan to say. So you're just in a bad mood. Enough talk, will you fight me or not? Since you put it like that, I won't hold back. I'm Lisa Shang from the Wanderer's House. Let's fight! Alright. Bam! Interesting. I should be reading it, but you know what they say? No? Master had to fire me in order to save my life. Oh. Second phase? Not bad indeed. You've got some moves though. So you're satisfied? Of course not. Didn't they send you here to convince me? Just that much fighting is far from enough. I'm not here to convince you actually about anything. I'm here to tell you about the danger this world is facing. And what has that got to do with me? Why don't you go ask that great master of yours for help instead? I've helped you so many times, so why don't you just turn to her for once? The great master has her responsibilities, of course, but before that, the world really needs you, Hirsch of Sentience. Who told you to say that? Kiana, or was it Seely? Neither, it was Dr. Tesla and Einstein. And the great master. She did not have a response to that request. Actually, even if the Hirscher always followed her heart, and she only did things as she pleased, but that merely meant that she wasn't concerned with trivialities, nor not that she wasn't intelligent. After they confronted Kevin together on the moon, the Hirscher of Sentience did contemplate her unreasonable experiences. Due to her own uniqueness, Project Stigma didn't affect her at all, and it was obvious that she didn't care about humanity's future. But what if she did it all for just Fu Hua? That old-timer isn't worth it. She would never admit it. Forget it, I'll think about it as returning her a favor. I don't want to owe her anything. Fair enough. Alright, tell me about it. I'll have to finish what I started and see this through. And so her personality seemingly also became her destiny. I thought the fight had 2 phases. Okay, fair enough. And she had 2 HP bars. Oh, this fucking place. The Elysian Realm, Maru. Elysian Realm. That's her up there. After extremely careful observation, the man finally determined that this scene before him was no coincidence. Just like how even a monkey could quote Shakespeare, no dream weaved by the 7 billion wills would be strange enough to warrant his time and thoughts. But this is the Elysian Realm, and not a coincidence made from dream materials. Right after he came to this conclusion, the man shook his head and rejected it. The aggregation of dreams was not omnipotent, and the beauty it weaved together required existing materials for its foundation. Whether it's Raiden Mei, Hua, or Klein, every witness of the Elysian realm was not in a dream. In other words, there was only one possibility behind the scene before his eyes now. The man looked around once more. He seemed intent on finding some kind of flaw to prove against that absurd possibility. But to no avail. Does that mean I am dreaming? A dose of his own medicine. Obviously, someone was trying to do that onto him. But he was Chimera's incarnation. No dream could touch the power of the finality he possessed. He absorbed it. There was a planet with no atmosphere in the dreams of the Honkai beasts. There were no seasons there, and the dark soil constantly burnt under the hot sun. Finality served no purpose. Everlasting death consumed the entire planet. Alright. There was a planet shrouded by acid clouds in the dreams of the Honkai beast. There, a day felt like a year, and beyond the clouds the sun rose from the west and the set from the east. Finality had long finished its work there. Everlasting death consumed the entire planet. There was a planet where crimson sand filled the sky in the dreams of the Honkai beast. There, 2 moons hung in the sky and one shone brighter than Venus. Finality had stalled there. The sparse bubble universe are the final echoes of civilization. No, that's not a Honkai beast, by the way, Kevin. I don't know if you know this. Oh. Sentience. Pathetic, eh? Sure, why not? See what happens. There was a gas giant with beautiful light in the dreams of the Honkai beast. One of its satellites remained dormant in its cradle, waiting for the light and the warmth to blow upon it. It's just random planets now. Like one's a Uranus. There were 2 ice giants with unending blizzards in the dreams of the Honkai. The enchanting pastel blue, the captivating cerulean blue, cruel in its beauty, just like the galaxy. There was a gas giant with complex patterns in the dream of the Honkai beast. One of its satellites was damaged by tidal force, and lava constantly spewed on its surface, covering the planet in sulfur. Oh, that's Jupiter or some shit. I don't know. I don't know my planets. Show yourself! Ooh. Worship Seniors. Why is this battlefield like always like the most cool? The most cool. Ah, you live up to your reputation. Even though I've been doing my best to use Honkai Beast dreams to attack the Chimera source, it barely troubled you. Strictly speaking, Honkai Beasts aren't sentient, so your power was never meant to be used on them. Well, I found something quite novel actually. Honkai Beasts rely on dreams to think. Is that true? They are the limbs of Hershtas and the cocoon's senses. Their dreams encompass Finality's thoughts on the entire solar system. Does that mean they are actually otherworldly visitors? Based on these dreams, they have been to the other planets in the solar systems long enough before they landed on the moon. The Earth may be their last stop. I see! That's amazing. In that case, do you want to consider sharing this part of Chimera's power with us? If you're capable of it, you can try take it. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't be asking for me to give my power to all of you. It'll only become a responsibility that you cannot uphold. Ah, knew it. Fine, if you want to fight, shall we have a go? You should know that you're no match for me. Are you forgetting something? This is a dream, and it's a space of sentience. Things aren't the same. I wish I knew how to use sentience. I wish I knew how to use her a bit better. I'm not too familiar. Indeed, Jupiter and one of its moons, Titan. Yeah, I know Jupiter's the orange one and it's kind of like on fire. Oh shit, Sentient's got this form out. God damn. He's got his fucking, the big Jews. Away from the Hirsch of Sentience battlefield, at a place far from the influence of dreams. After an emergency communication, the Shixel Overseer started to assimilate all the missed information. Even when she walked through dreams, she was often worried about everything going on elsewhere. After all, in that risky yet crucial plan, the first executor was too unstable. How are things looking? Seeley said the Hirsch of Sentience domain has come into contact with Kevin's Chimera. The battlefield may have already begun. How are the others doing, Rita? Durandal is in position, Kiana, Mei, and Bronya are awaiting orders as well. Now, whether we can really get a chance is up to the Hirsch of Sentience. Or maybe it's better to say, her tenacity. But even if it's the legendary blade, how will it cut down Kevin's shadow? This plan is actually inspired by Seeley's experiences. Kevin's shadow is actually a manifestation of Chimera. It is a dream shared among all the Honkai beasts that has fused into Kevin. As for the inspiration you gave us, Seeley, it's the other Seeley, of course. You temporarily lost contact with her on the moon, right? Yeah. Which means cutting down Kevin's shadow is actually similar to hair temporarily separating the other me from me. Yes, but the important prerequisite is to falter the power of finality. When I raised the question about whether Chimera could be cut, Dr. Tesla pointed out that merely targeting such special manifestations wouldn't change anything. What we call Chimera has long been linked with the power of finality, even if Kevin did succeed at dominating finality through this means. But as those who come after, the only way we can benefit from this is by faltering the power of finality to waver that link. Only then will the inspiration we just mentioned have a theoretical possibility of success. Also, the Hirsch of Sentience battle with Kevin isn't the most volatile part of the plan. Yes, but Teresa, you should have a little bit more confidence in our plan. After all, Dr. Tesla did say, I refuse to give up. Why can't we do what Kevin can? Can we monitor the battle between Hirsch of Sentience and Kevin? Oh, do I have to fight again? Please no. The Hirsch of Sentience always refused to give up on things, but at that moment, all she could feel was fear. This shouldn't be the case though. This body of hers, equivalent to the Vessel of Sentience, was made for destruction. Like many of her comrades, even if she did not have a similar will, she had an exceptional talent. A talent for slaughter. But this was a problem. If she was born as a hunter, where did this fear come from? Everything I do is to ensure that you'll never hurt yourself again. You don't have to push yourself. I don't know why you intend to delay me here, but this is as far as you can go, Hirsch of Sentience. This is really... How could such a thing happen? Enough with the shameless bragging, Kevin. You think you will win against the Hirsch of Sentience in a sentient space? You know that there is a precedence for this. Fine, then come at me again. You are just the foundation of the Mantises in the end, the same level as the Old-Timer. Do you really think you can match a Hirscher? A Hirscher. For some reason, he spoke as though he was absorbed in a bygone memory. But he was not like a certain comrade in arms from the past, with a habit of being calculative. I don't know what you're betting on to do this, but you may well put your all into it and display your prowess here. Though some things belong to her memory, there is no doubt that you possess more than her at this moment. Since I've once made a promise to make her the tombstone of the previous era, well then this time do your best right from the start and let me see what you're capable of, Hirsch of Sentience. This is the only way I can show you mercy before I kill you. Alright, fair enough. Ow. We'll go with this. Oh. So is this all? Oh wait, am I meant to tap something? Oh, we've escaped somehow? She should still have some strength left. Feng Huang down. True complete authority. Oh shit! That was kind of cool. That was fucking sick, actually. She put Kevin in a fucking glass ball. A crack appeared on Diabolical's horn. In the distant past, he traded his ability to dream for discipline, rendering Feng Huangdian useless against him. In other words, this was true damage. And there's no visual damage on him. Incredible. If I were you, I wouldn't use this specialty for just a sneak attack. Did I ask for your opinion? No. Besides, how can there be a better use for it? It sure isn't easy to make you suffer some humiliation. In other words, you did cut your connection with her. Your connection with Fu Hua. If not, you shouldn't be able to use this amount of strength. I do resent the old-timer more, but she was the one who broke that shackle. If it weren't for that disciple of hers who came over just to remind me, I wouldn't have known. Well, this power is authentic and perfect. Metamorphosis isn't so important, is it? I see. Someone found the core of the 8th Divine Key on Mount Taishuan, and you're able to temporarily stay in it. Or was your consciousness capable of this all along? But in any case, rather than a complete Hirsch of Sentience, you're more of a Divine Key with sentience. I'm not a Divine Key! Anyway, whether I can defeat you is another story. But I already told you that you can't do anything against me. Do you believe me now? Indeed, in the past, your strength might still depend on Fu Hua's condition and had a clear limit. But now, as long as the core is intact, there's no way for me to completely erase you as a consciousness. And since your aim is to delay, the core must be protected in a place that I cannot quickly destroy. Well, good for you knowing that. Now, why don't you just obediently... Unfortunately, even so, you cannot keep me for long. I am Kevin. I do not know the exact number, but perhaps in this dream, endless objects similar to feathers exist, acting as a medium for your power. To deplete them would be akin to fulfilling your goal. That's why I said you can just... First of Sentience. You seem to have overlooked a possibility. What if someone could deplete them all in one go? Since you cannot be killed right now, Hirsch of Sentience, have a taste of finality. Of the full power of the Diabolical. Oh shit. Man, dude, they really chuck you into combat. Out of nowhere. I was not prepared. Ow. Take Konoken! Bum 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 bum. Come on, Kevin. Keep up. Keep up, Kevin. You got this, buddy. I'm taking damage, but if we kill him before he kills me, that will result in an overall W. Right? Boom boom. Ow. This is the end, Hirsch of Sentience. Is it? Oh, apparently. Oh, we're dead. Well, GG's, boys. Hirsch said he's dead. Indeed, you were not her, but you were born from her will after all. Can't you speak in a way that's easy to understand, please? You are a Hirscher, but you don't have the will to decimate on behalf of Honkai. So to you, this has nothing to do with instinct. My only enemy is Honkai, but its extinction does not affect you. So to you, this has nothing to do with survival. You may be called a Hirscher of human too, but you have never possessed an idea beyond the concept of ego. So to you, this has nothing to do with conviction. Is this what you make it think of easy to understand is? All in all, every obsession you embody and the last hand you dealt are just traces of Fu Hua left inside you. This is none of your business, by the way. Or have you assimilated it to the Grey Serpent and aspire to be a poet too? I simply find that I am wasting my time. I do have my own reasons for entering the spiritual Adam, but they do not include being entangled with the shadow of another. A shadow? She could not help but recall the fear she had felt just before. Just as she had shown respect to Dr. Mei, perhaps that too was an instinct that was imprinted on her through memory. And also, the thing that was most likely to make her fight against herself. Enough of this nonsense. I'm not gonna fall for that. I'm just here to fight. And don't tell me what to do. She didn't have time to finish a sentence. Indeed, compared to the most people, this Hirscher seemed very independent and dismissive of the preaching of others. but the person she was facing happened to be the type who preferred actions to words. Up from the weapon, named Might of Aunt Utu, rose a flare that a normal person could not directly look at. It rose high up, wrapping around the space that belonged to the Hirsch of Sentience. From the start of this battle, the man had not made a move of this magnitude. He had become determined to finish this, and for him, it was easy enough to measure both their strengths. From the form that took the blow had no time to even utter a cry of surprise before it dissolved into nothing, other than not truly dying. This Hirscher had indeed lost everything. With a look of disdain, the man quietly extinguished the flame he had lit. And just like his interest in the fight against her earlier, he thought that measuring her power against the Hirscher of humans would prove this time he is slightly more meaningful. But the result would disappointed him. Alright, so Hirscher of Sentience is not dead, but definitely not present. Oh, this whole thing has been a game. Ooh. Get fucked, Kevin. You'll never reach the door with your old man legs. Fight versus Kevin in Abyss was quite fun. The shield mechanic was interesting to get around. I was kind of indifferent. I hated it more than I liked it. All the doors disappearing. Do you actually think you can take on the Hirsch of Sentience in mind space? Ha ha ha! Oh, we're not done yet. I see. These feathers are not the medium of Feng Wang Down, but you're borrowing from the dreamland. I can see why everyone praises your strength, but not your intelligence. Indeed, I should have realized it long ago. Your current nature is similar to a divine key, so it is only natural that you possess this ability. Only then did this man realize that although the girl in front of him was often regarded as a child due to her childish disposition, she was born a Hirscher, an envoy of annihilation and a psychic of immeasurable destructive power. You've tainted these dreamlands and turned them into your power, haven't you? Yes. You think I used up my trump card? Stop joking around. In Mindspace, my trump card is everything you've created. Yeah, Infinite Tsukuyomi, dude. That's a good one. Come, Kevin. Are you capable of decimating everything? Hirsch of Sentience, you do not need to speak of such words of provocation. You cannot hide this from me. Consciously or not, the man looked at the shadow behind himself. You seem to have been resisting my attacks with human-made dreams, but they have been essentially unharmed. And when a part of them cannot bear the attack any longer, you cleverly move it and replace it with others. That was why I could feel you still had strength left every time I struck you down. While they protect you, you protect them too. Why? Don't assume that I care if they live or die. I just think that it's important to be fair. Why do you think I don't even have a body right now? You see, it seems you were able to achieve what you intended, Hirsch of Sentience. This tactic is extraordinary indeed. Flaws do exist, but they are difficult for me to manipulate. In the instant when you move them, there is a weakness I can take advantage of to strike you down in one blow. But your familiarity with consciousness makes it so that I must take a lot more time than I have to grasp that weakness. You're overthinking. Mere theories are not enough to deal with the Hirsch of Sentience. Then do you know the consequence? Even if you are able to move them, you are turning those dreams into a part of yourself. If in the end you are unable to reverse the spiritual atom, their effect on you will be eternal. Also, if this battle lasts longer than you expected, the wills of merely 10,000 people will be enough to balance out a person's 5,000 years of memories. When that happens, you might become an entirely different person, a person whom your current self would not recognize. So what? All this to hold me back. This is too heavy a price to pay. Who says this is a price? What you said before is true. It was not my choice to become a Hirscher, nor did I choose to live under the old-timers' influence. It is the same even after our shackles have broken. As things are right now, if this goes on, I would be nothing, of course. So do you think that whatever you said can still be considered a price to pay? You want to live by your will to become any person you want to be. The price I speak of, is it just a way to fulfill your wish? I can't tell if you're stupid or stupid. But don't be arrogant. This fight might end soon. Do you really think that my attacks were completely futile? You will fall into a dream before you grasp my weakness, Kevin. It matters not. I do not mind. Rather, I'm more interested in making this battle last as long as possible now. You're already barking mad. I haven't even started. I entered this place for selfish reasons. So what you see today might not be the enforcer of Project Stigma, but the human called Kevin. And the 8th Herstra of the past era had an affinity with her, Kevin. That was when he started to become inhuman. Out of his selfishness as a human, when the power of the 8th Herstra was once again used by his opponent, I do not mind ravaging this opponent slowly. We have to do another fucking Kevin fight. There was no battle that could end in an instant. Even death required processes of varied duration to bring eternal silence. But it was not the same for victory and defeat. Okay, huffing and puffing. Similarly, ever since the man first swung his sword, the winner of this battle had already been decided. Even though she had already known that she was no match for him, the unfathomable difference between them seized her heart. She did her best, however, she could only achieve darkness and defeat. That didn't matter, human life was defined as such. She merely used a special way to feel those emotions that originally belonged to ordinary people. But, we are in a dream, but he still is so much stronger than me. No, no, no. You can choose to surrender again. The man had the right to speak this way. Clearly, the domain that had once belonged to the Hirsch of Sentience could no longer be found. It was obvious that she was the first to falter in this battle. Don't think about it. For some reason, she did not face Kevin when she shouted. Instead, she turned her head to the sky like a defiant child. We'll see about that one. Knock him flat. However, just like in the past, the man was not interested in responding to his opponent's yelling at all. He stepped slowly forward, resolved to end everything. Even if that end is only temporary for the Herstra in front of him. Fine. I'll do as you say. It sounded like the Hirsch of Sentience was finally willing to accept Kevin's suggestion to surrender again. But in the blink of an eye, the man, relying on his instincts cultivated from battles, turned around and held his weapon up. This unexpected exchange of blows brought a belated explanation for the man's earlier doubts. I will knock him flat myself. When these words were uttered by the Hirsch of Sentience, she turned to the sky because those words were not meant for Kevin. The words were meant for the reinforcement she was not willing to accept. Indeed. Durandal. Oh, for fuck's sake. From now on, I am your opponent. Fair enough. Can you do this to him? Oh, you can? Oh, but he kind of like blocks it. Isn't this Durandal pretty fucking dog shit for most situations? I don't, how much speed do you need? It's like 50 or 60? But you can't dodge out of her ultimate? That's crazy. Bro, why is that ability so hard to dodge? I think this is just a story fight. We're not really actually trying to win, are we? Yeah, old J. Maybe we are. Shoot him. Okay, we're not doing much damage. Kevin? Fuck off. Kevin? You're gonna need to fuck off just for a moment. Ultimate pressing simulator. ultimate pressing simulator. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Oh, okay. Next. Line it up. White screen! There was no doubt that up against the first Kislana, the one who held the power of finality was the girl of Galactica. Could not do more. Oh, it's white. I'm blind. Kevin himself, when facing finality, did not have a glorious battle record. His strongest strike 50,000 years ago only exchanged for an opportunity for a handful of people, let alone attain victory. The girl's action now seems similar, but if there must be a comparison of how similar their situations were, it was impossible to ignore a difference. Their weapons. For example, when the Hersh of Sentience recalled Kevin's strike, all she could think of were the flames that covered the sky. The Key of Destruction, Judgment of Shamash, even with his strength, the man still had to rely on a weapon when he made his final stand. But now, it's not the same for the girl. Many years ago, she had already obtained a weapon that was no less powerful than the Divine Key, a holy blade called Durandal. But why had she, in the face of a strong enemy, deliberately chosen to use the Astral Harness, and not use her own killer skill? This question had also crossed the man's mind before, but he did not care. And when he finally knew the truth, it was too late. This really is unexpected, but reasonable. Clearly, for both parties, this battle had been a stalemate for way too long. However, when it finally came down to this moment, according to a certain plan, the reinforcement truly responsible for temporarily ending this battle had finally joined the fray. To herself and to Kevin, the form she took now was familiar yet contemptible. When she first used this power, it made her betray herself and trample all in sight. Kevin was the only witness to this, and thus he knew better than anyone else just how unwilling she is to use this. Sheesh! Hot. Power known as active Honkai reaction. And there it is, boys. That's fucking sick. Feng Huang down in the flesh. The embodiment... actually, I don't know if that's the embodiment of Feng Huang. That's incredible. Surely this is a playable character in the future, right? No? Come on. Come on. Come on. Like, come on. This looks fucking sick. Power known as active Honkai reaction. Well, you don't always have to be like this, always putting everything on the line. The holy blade that should have appeared in the hands of his successor took a different look, and instead was held in the hands of this old friend in front of him. From the time the Hersh of Sentience appeared to challenge him, their plan had been put in motion, and at this moment they finally reached their goal. With a weapon that no one expected her to use, this girl dealt a blazing blow with the power of active Honkai reaction, cutting something away from Kevin. That thing in her hand turned into a torch. It burned fiercely and was full of vitality. I'm not putting everything on the line. Kevin, you once risked all of yourself to give the future half a day of respite. This time, I am merely performing the same duty. That was cool. 50,000 years, when expressed as a number, is a sheer length becomes difficult to grasp. Yet some said every story on this planet could be measured by 3 years. Whether someone could be your friend or lover for life, a moment could be remembered, a venture could be succeeded, everything could be tested in 3 years. 50,000 years was long enough for these life-changing moments to occur 16,000 times. And the two worlds separated by this time span would be entirely different. The people of that ancient age faced a strange world that the people of today could not understand. They followed strange rules in their daily life. One must above all pardon these unhappy souls who chose to go on a pilgrimage on foot, who walk along the shore and who look without understanding. Garuda form, she's hot, damn straight. The deep sorrow of the vanquished. There was no doubt that the girl was the winner now, but just like the people of this era, she felt nothing but fear in her heart. The reason was simple. They knew all of victories were temporary. Just like the girl situation. Now, with extreme caution, the girl recalled the bitter battle earlier and started to take shock of her injuries. Before, she was surrounded by numerous monsters in this abandoned research facility, or at least it seemed abandoned. And the remains next to her indicated the current progress of the battle. However, the girl could still recall that shadowy existence whose appearance was difficult to make out, and the fear that she felt before lingered. The battle isn't over yet. The most powerful enemy is still around. Okay. Oh yeah, this fucking boo-hua. Nice. Kiana, no, 70 pulls. Kiana, she prefers Moon than me. Unfortunate, dude. Unfortunate. Maybe next time, eh? Or, I don't. Is the banner? The banner shouldn't be disappearing soon, right? Maybe like a few more days, like a week or so. Should still be a while. Kevin. Was it his power that I had sensed just now? Is that you, Hua? Honkai must be annihilated. Okay. So it's the thing in Kevin's shadow, what, the Chimera, that is just, is all about killing Honkai. Well, kinda. Whoop. Meow, meow, meow. Make sure you don't get hurt. What? Don't worry, after this, Mei will fix everything. You're not a monster, not now, and not in the future. To the girl, that past event ended this way. When she woke again, she was submerged in a life support chamber. She could only feel the pain in her torso and did not even have the strength to open her eyes. She only learned the truth of what happened after a long time. In other words, no matter what happens, I cannot use that power again in the future. That's right. There's just one exception. That's when all the moths have been destroyed except for you. But once that happens, it won't mean much even if you do that. So what is all this for? We aren't sure yet, to be honest, but the greatest possibility is that Swara, with its close resemblance to discipline, produces an unexpected change when it was used on you. Perhaps it was due to your obsession. Now eliminating Honkai is no longer a choice for you, but an instinct that is practically impossible for you to ignore. But Mantis is an existence that was born from using the power of Honkai. And so sometimes when your control over yourself is weakened, you will be forced to let your instincts drive you and destroy everything related to Honkai, including your comrades and even yourself. If you force yourself, there is only one ending. After annihilating everything, you will see yourself as your greatest enemy and attack without mercy. The restorative properties of Garuda will also allow you to recover from heavy injuries quickly. In other words, you'll enter a cycle of perpetual hell. The girl could not retort. The memories of the past flooded back to her once again. She resorted to using active Honkai reaction for the first time not so long ago. It did destroy a large number of enemies, but it also brought destruction that could not be tolerated. That's right, that research facility was not abandoned but destroyed by her, its guardian. And the most powerful monster she had been chasing was herself. Because of this coincidental attack, nobody else had ever seen how she looked when she used active Honkai reaction. And for the moths who had heard of this incident, they were perhaps interested in checking the archives, but about that figure, even as the strongest, Kevin was also went through active Honkai reaction to tame that figure. And they learned was a name. All they learned was a name. A Garuda. Fucking hell, that was a struggle to get through. Jesus Christ. In the spiritual atom, the battle between the girls and the wielder of finality continued, and they had achieved victory temporarily. Just as in the previous brief encounter, the absence of Swara made it possible for this figure to appear in the world again. At this moment, the man still spoke from the habit and called her by this familiar name, even though he knew as he uttered that name that the person before him was completely different from who she was in the past. The Hirsch of Sentience, person of Equinox, they were all just distractions, weren't they? I don't know what the Hirsch of Sentience may think. She probably thought she wouldn't lose a head-on fight against you. But it is true that defeating you is not our goal. We don't have the ability to either. These words from her seemed ironic. After all, just earlier she had used the power of active Honkai reaction and made the surrounding space an uncanny chaos with just one blow. Even when I use my full power, I can barely waver the power of finality in you. I am not your intended target after all. As he said that, the man turned his gaze to the torch light in Fu Hua's hand. He saw through its appearance and knew its true form. It was an object that had always been with him. So you've tried several times to challenge the power of finality, even through unimpressive means, just to get my shadow. No wonder the person of Equinox had no intention of using their full strength. Durandal, she lent the weapon she possessed to you. Yes, even if it's the power of the active Honkai reaction, it is still difficult to grasp grasp space itself. Of course, the power that Garuda gave me can not be discounted either. But if you want to slash through the intangible sharp weapons like the Holy Blade are just as crucial. You call it the Holy Blade too, huh? Hearing a different name for that weapon reminded him of a time when he heard it was created. Before his successor ended drifting in the Sea of Quanta and learned to harness his power. Oh fucking hell, it was another ambitious creation of the moths. In its complete form, it could cut through space itself. It had deviated from the usual goal of manipulating microscopic particles farther than it had from its name. The same could be said for many different things 50,000 years, and it was no exception. When I defended myself, thinking that Ankora was aimed at me, you used it to cut apart my shadow away. But what truly surprised me, that you seem to understand its true nature. As the man said, that shadow behind him, surging with hundreds of beasts, was also seen by a certain agent of the World Serpent recently. But other than a cry of horror, she could not learn anything about the nature of that shadow. Indeed, this was never my true forte, or have never been my forte. At least, I have not changed much in this regard, compared to the Hua that you know. I'm just following the instructions of others. I was surprised when that shadow took on the form of a torchlight after breaking away from you. But in this era, geniuses exist too. With mere scraps of information, they could deduce your weakness and allowed me to understand the price you paid. Kevin, when you controlled the power of finality, it wasn't as easy as you made it seem, was it? In the beginning, they thought those shadows were manifestations of your dreams after Project Stigma was completed. But I know that's not impossible. Because of discipline, you lost the ability to dream tens of thousands of years ago. This speculation may sound ridiculous at first, but since you deny that you're a Herrscher of finality, it's become extremely likely. The situation you're in is no different from the consequence I incurred by forcibly using active Honkai reaction when I possessed Swara. You somehow obtained the power of finality, but if you're not a Herrscher, you, like any other normal person, cannot bear its power. In other words, that power is continuously destroying your physical body. And as the end product of Chimera, your physical body has the same Garuda genes as mine does. In fact, yours are even more potent than mine, due to the traits of Chimera. Sure. And so your body, or should I say, the low-class Honkai beasts you fused with, are being continuously destroyed while being continuously reborn. And the so-called shadow is the corpse of you, the usurper, and the last dream of those Honkai beasts. From what I can sense, it's also being pursued by the true authority of the Cocoon of Finality. In fact, right now, I must sustain active Honkai reaction or I will be destroyed by that power in an instant. You are not lying indeed, yet you are using ambiguous words to disguise your current condition. It's amazing that you can still maintain even the most basic of human sanity right now. It seems your earlier self-assessment was indeed too modest. So is that the truth? This is insignificant in comparison to the price humans have paid. But this is also suggests that you have other options aside from battling me. Yes, this pursuit from the cocoon is frightful, but if you look at it from another angle, it also allows us to reverse locate the cocoon of finality, and it offers me a chance to seize the power of finality from you. In this sense, the possibilities it brings are better than anything we've anticipated before. It'd be wonderful to be able to do that. Well, what makes you so confident in those children? For example, before you obtain the power, you're unsure of whether you can bear the power temporarily like I can. Yes, but here's the thing, Kevin. They are not just children, but an error. In that sense, they are no different from you. Besides, when we joined the battle against Hershtas, we weren't much older than them. But you should also know that numerous geniuses drain themselves for that narrow victory. A minor error can overturn everything, and we will not have a third chance. Unless they can surpass me in a more definite way, otherwise I will remain the finality for all of you. Kevin, you, me, and everyone in this fucking previous era, perhaps we were all impulsive when it came to emotional matters. But we never let emotions get the better of us. In other words, you're not looking for a chance, you already have a plan. The girl gave no answer. She must not, in any form, let Kevin realize the whole of their plan. After all, even if Kevin was lenient, he was still capable of extinguishing the fire before it could spread. Their insistence on absolute ironically led them to the same destination. This will do. In any case, it's about time for this long day to end. Kevin, you're right. We were never swayed by emotions. Even though I don't want to fight you, I would still do it to get my shadow back. You've won this battle, unless I kill you here along with that shadow. You know that I'm not afraid of you. We were not fighting for life and death from the start. I only care for results now. Since you think you can succeed, try to bring those results to me. Out of habit, the man looked up and gazed afar in search of the moon despite being inside a spiritual atom. Everything started here, and everything would end here. The man had that premonition. But he also said, even if I can't change the future, how I get there is up to me. She once said that, but I cannot do that. This is also why I don't care about what all of you are trying to do. No matter how it started and how it proceeds, I will decide how it ends. Yeah, let's take a quick breather, eh, boys? Let's take a quick breather. Just take a nice breather before we really just continue with this fucking long-ass fucking story. Oh. Woo! Oh god, I can't do this. Oh. Show us their second performance uniform. In due time. You never know in the future. We got Fuhua's eventually. Don't forget to breathe. Oh, it's not that. But I guess it is that. Yeah, I'm just forgetting to breathe. Okay. We're near the end, right? It's been so long. We've been doing this for like almost 3 hours now. Yeah, it's pretty much been 3 hours now. Teresa, you have prepared yourself, yes, to decide everything yourself? Yes. Honestly, nobody can graduate. Their method will bring, or guarantee, not graduate, guarantee that the method will bring the dreamer back to reality willingly. So, I'll be ready to do it in the hard way in case anything goes wrong. Using the power of Vishnu to devour dreams, eh? Yes, yes. Early on, when I first entered the Sigma space, I had already devoured my own dreams. So, if the situation spins out of control, I will not hesitate to devour those dreams that cannot be awoken. I've walked into the heart of history of humans, so I must take responsibility for their future, and at least This is safer than directly bombarding dreams with energy. Do as you like, Teresa. It is said that a person can only lead the way for the others, but not walk in their place. But we aren't obligated to satisfy anyone's whims. No matter what, the results of all this are of the history and the future that humanity must bear. It is for this reason, Teresa. All you have to do is believe in yourself. Okay? If it's necessary, I'm willing to make the decision on behalf of anyone. That said, I hope that moment will never come. Fortunately, the fellow humans she visited did not let her down. After breaking through several layers of dreams, the cloud of apprehension that loomed over her heart dissipated. Fuhua and the others will surely succeed as well. According to Rita's plan, we will try to take a fragment of the shadow from Kevin. Afterward, I'll use the power of Vishnu, which shares an origin with Chimera, to devour the dreams of the Honkai beast in the shadow. That way, I can help the girls locate the cocoon of finality. A distant voice pierced the space and interrupted her diffused musings. Hey you two, now's not the time to space out. Sentience, have you succeeded? Of course, don't you know how powerful I am? Oh shit, they just threw it at her? They just threw it at her? Fair enough. A flame rose from the void and landed in Teresa's arms. It danced about silently, appearing bright and harmless. However, at the core of the flame there was a cold and distorted force that, like countless formless blades, pierced her skin and bones. It seemed as if her soul was being churned up and dissolved into the same void as the dream. Is this the true power of finality? Teresa-sama! What's wrong? Don't touch her, you dummy. Do you have a death wish? We will get assimilated by their power if we get close. Don't worry, Celia, I'm fine. Fuhua, Hershey, and even Kevin must have experienced the same pain. I can do it like them. This little pain is nothing compared to the full force of Kevin's strike. Young ones these days, really. Why, Iota? Wait, something's wrong. Be careful, you two. Violent noises broke out from all around them. In an instant, Celia and Teresa were surrounded by Honkai beasts. Oh no! This is a terrible outcome! Oh. Oh yeah, I have not been reading. Whoops, my bad. Something about anti-entropy. You guys still want to locate the cocoon or whatever, right? Then don't let this flame get extinguished. I'm trying. Oh, sarcasm. Oh, dude, I don't know how sarcasm works. Too bad, the more you come, the faster you die. What do we use that on? Meanwhile, Teresa huddled tightly with the flame burning silently before her chest. No matter how the flame flickered her bones and spirit, she didn't let go. Even so, the flame gradually dimmed. What do we do? Honkai beasts are still coming in droves from all directions. Even if we kill them all as fast as we can, some still escape into the shadow. It's like a candle burning into a glass jar. If the gas produced builds up in the jar, the flame will eventually be suffocated. If I'm strong enough, I can devour them at once, but as a Vishnu that grew by devouring, she must first ingest to increase her strength. And these imaginary scraps were not easy to digest. The complete Vishnu of the legends might be different, but as Teresa, she was unable to regain strength by battling. If only I could become stronger, even just by a little bit. Silver speckles of light suddenly gathered around her hands. These are the dreams of ordinary people. Back in the Sigma space, she had devoured her multi-layered dream at once and thus obtained the power to escape from dreams. And now countless sweet dreams are floating around her hands. Teresa finally realized that this space filled with countless human dreams was a vast sea of treasures for her. In the end, must I do this to all of you? After going in circles, fate placed the decision that she had hesitated to make at the beginning back in her hands. As she had promised before, she finally had to choose between the ideal and the future of humanity. And ironically, what she now needed to do, could and must devour were not these stubborn elements that prevented the dream cluster from disintegrating, but the most mundane dreams of ordinary people. Schools, parks, stadiums, daily necessities, game consoles, electric guitars, all of them. The dreams made no sound, as if they were waiting for Teresa to decide their fate. What if I hold in my hands is humanity's future, and possibly humanity's last hope? This is the final chance they've risked their lives for. I must not let them down. She made the decision in an instant. Seely, help me out here. What's up, Teresa? As if realizing what Teresa was to do, the Stigma's spirit returned to the body to the Quantum's daughter. I remember, like you tried when you entered this place, you have the ability to sense and attract dreamlands. So can you attract more dreamlands? In other words, keep all the dreamlands away from the Honkai beasts? Do you mean lure them away? But if I do that, you'll be left alone to face a never-ending stream of Honkai beasts. And if I recall correctly, your ability is... It's okay. Once dreamlands stop interfering, I can destroy them all. There's no time for me to explain. Seely, please trust me. I know you can do it. Leave it to me, buddy. Dreamlands flitted like glowing fireflies and receded with the girl's figure. It's my time to go to the front lines, eh? Oh, for fuck's sake. Hmm?
やっぱりやってくれたのね。これで夢を飲み込んで強くなることはできない。飲み込む対象を失ったから。私は力も
I'm not powerful or strong, I'm not fit to be a leader, but I'm hardly a legit fighter. No, Teresa, you're fine. You just need to kind of get some power buffs. Maybe like a new Valkyrie suit, that would be kind of a good one. Getting a new Valkyrie battle suit would be probably a massive bonus, in my opinion. They give Teresa a new battle suit after this, that'll be dope, right? They give her... Oh. A decision, isn't it? Yes, indeed, it is. Oh. I won't give up on anyone, and I won't make anyone a price to be paid. This is Teresa's decision as the Shixel Overseer, so it's time to use my last leverage. This flame will never be extinguished. I will use my own power to block out these remnants. Blood Knight Moonlight Limiter removed. Feed on my bones, my flesh, my all. Vishnu. Oh, she's like doing her limiter removal. She's going apocalypse mode. So you met with resistances from the locals and were forced to abort the mission? Oh, those fools can't tell what's good for them. Don't say that. The masses aren't educated enough to understand Shixel's causes. Doesn't the Overseer always say that we should be tolerant of the common people? Greetings, Madam Teresa. Hello, Agatha. Teresa, you must be mistaking me for someone else. I'm Helen from the 1st Squad, Far East Branch. We met just last week. Ooh, my apologies. There's no difference. Their names are different, looks are different, but they say the same things and do the same things. Could Grandpa be right, that everyone is actually repeating the history of others? Just like me? The night view is beautiful. Why though? Don't you think the light coming from those windows is beautiful? Well, that's just common fluorescent tubes. They aren't bright enough nor decorated enough. They don't hold a candle to the lights of Shixel HQ. But those lights are very warm. Every light represents a family. Even if lights are similar, they reflect different colors of life. Who are the owners of those lights? What are their stories? Are they waiting for someone? When I think about this, it makes me happy that I can protect a night like this. Is your lecture over? Oh, it's more tiring than going into battle. These girls cause me trouble to no end. They are energetic youngsters, aren't they? I envy your positivity. Someday they'll tire me or anger me to death at this rate. Didn't you say that at the opening ceremony last month? Valkyries risk their lives so that the ordinary people can live in freedom. They are not ordinary people. They're not? Calm down, my dear principal. Would you like to drink with me? In the hazy dream, the past appeared and disappeared in bursts, like the starlight on the sea. Teresa's mind was like a boat on the sea. drifting aimlessly in the abyss of the spiritual world.
あの時の私
What was I thinking about back then?
よく覚えて
My
ない
memory is hazy. I've changed a lot since then after all.
あの子たち
All
のおかげ
thanks to
だ
them.
あの子たち
They
が
helped me see this world with new
この
eyes
世
and
界
taught me
の
that
他の人
I am
から
so similar yet so different from others. What am I thinking? It's not as if I'm really going to die. The flame stopped dancing and burned silently. Teresa could feel the burning warmth and the bone-piercing cold stopped disturbing her mind. At some point, she started to feel her limbs again.
終わったの
Is it over?
でも
But after going through the complete Honkai, active Honkai reaction, I'm afraid I don't look the same anymore.
帰ったら
I wonder if Rita and the others will can still recognize me when I return. It's not easy to be a good overseer who doesn't make mistakes. After much hesitation, Teresa slowly opened her eyes. Okay. I'm just gonna need a height check. She did not see the sharp claws she had been expecting. She saw a pair of hands belonging to a girl whose fingers were slender and whose nails were round. Like all teenagers approaching adulthood. Oh, so she's like roughly the same kind of height, I'm assuming, as the rest of the cast, right? Probably maybe slightly shorter, slightly taller. She had seen this scene countless times in dreams, but had never thought that she'd actually fulfill a wish that had been long buried in the memories in this scene.
私は
Have I grown up? The gift forgotten by fate returned to her in such a surprising form after she had forgotten it for decades. Even in this time of crisis, she wanted to cry and laugh at the same time. Does this also count as everyone being overprotective of me? The howling of Honkai beasts came from afar once more.
来なさい
Come, I will devour you all, no matter how many times it takes.
私は
I am Teresa Apocalypse,
天命の大
the
事な
Shixel Overseer.
この距離なら大丈夫だよねテレサ学園長の方はどうなってるのかな
Wonder how Teresa's going? True.
良くない状況かもしれないわね。
Oh god, for fuck's sake.
どうしたの？
What, don't you remember me? You have the nerve to appear before me? I'll strike fear into your spine. Oh, you're bad-tempered as usual, eh? She's, Remember how we lost contact recently? So it was her. Don't worry, silly, soon she will regret everything she did. The woman who had returned the name Hare looked at the two who tensed up at the sight of her and smiled helplessly. She felt that she still lacked the ability to make friends. I understand how you feel. I didn't know you well enough in the past, so I made some mistakes. But I'm afraid now's not the time for that after all. Your friends from earlier are in danger right now. Teresa? What did you do to her? You misunderstood. I'm just an innocent passerby, I didn't do anything, and I don't intend to partake in any of your operations. But I just happen to have information you truly need. You'd better not be playing your tricks. There is no trick. From what I know, there happens to be a person in this dream maze who may be of help to you. How about it? Do you want to go into the dreamland again to have a look? I'd be delighted if you were to believe me. You see, I've always been an honest person. Yeah. So this is farewell.
あなた
Don't be mistaken. I just really don't have much time left in the proper world. Hare smiled, and her body gradually blurred, ultimately becoming a dreamlike glow that vanished before Seely's eyes. And just like when she appeared, the world began in chaos. In the chaotic dreamland, the girl slept in chaos. Countless silk-thin threads were scattered throughout the thing, and the tender touches evoking her thoughts. There was a complete story in each thread, cycling as a clock went. From the girl on the battleship at dusk to the origin and finality under the starry sky, this was how everything existed in the pseudo-time crystal. In the haziness of her thoughts, she heard someone calling. Who's there?
また
Did I see the future again? The blurry figure turned sideways toward her, lips moving slightly, as if telling her something.
あなたは
Who are you? What are you trying to tell me? As if aware of the girl's stare, the figure shook her head and then faded out of focus.
待って
At least let me see your
顔だ
face.
けでも
Seely? Or Seely? Who knows?
ここは
What is this place? What happened? After temporary confusion, she came to her senses and remembered everything that had happened before she was caged in the dream.
今は
Am I in my own dream now? I can't believe there's nothing here.
そうだよ
Well, the way I moved about in the pseudo-time crystal is close to how humans dream. So even if I'm trapped in a dream, I'm incapable of dreaming new things. After all, I'm just a recorder, not a creator of stories. Rather than dwelling on this, I'd better find a way out, actually. I wonder how Mei and the others are doing, but according to the future I saw earlier, they should have gotten out safely. Doesn't feel right. Have I forgotten something important? So dark, I can't see anything. How do I get out of here? Sealy drags you out, probably. Light up surroundings. Did someone do something just now? Is it a coincidence? I'd better hurry up and find an exit.
So this is what my dream looks like.
Damn. Damn! This is a fucking long ass story, boys. My god. The change from Honkai Final Form Signet. Oh, whoops, am I going the... Do I have to do one of these ones? Do a bit of a loop-de-loop? No. No loop-de-loops. Ultimate we never saw. Any franchises transform except you know who in the future. No, we'll see them. No, we'll see them. We'll see the Mobiuses and all that shit, you know what I mean? We'll get them in. They'll be done. They can't tell us they exist and they never show us, right? That's cringe. We got in some pretty big ones today. What, Adult Teresa and active Honkai reaction Fuhua. Playable characters in the future. Frey. Frage. What's going on? Douche, 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 douche. What's going on? Oh no, not the Kevin treatment. How far can we go? Give a hint, sure. Oh, I can't see shit? Oh. I have to use this lady for DPS? Oh, dude. She's like not good outside of Elysian Realm. Ba-bow! Destroy the Honkai. Sure. What, so we just take the options? Just take the little hinties. Which way should we go? Right. I have a curious hunch right now. Forward? What an interesting experience right now. This is very weird. Someone's speaking directly to my consciousness. Forward. Oh, wow, we found the door. The exit is ahead, right? Thank you. You've been guiding me since earlier. You've been watching us, right? The hint is obvious. And because my existence is different, I can sense the anomalies of this world. If I may ask, are you time? It seems like our understanding of time is a little different. Was it the so-called story that I saw? From the moment of birth, the world I see has been divided into countless parallel times. In the boundless time, I experienced countless pasts and futures and witnessed countless similar stories. Those stories were varied lengths, some were fleeting, like the blink of an eye, others were lasting, flowing into the distant future. The only constant was me watching those stories and the futures they held. It's only recently that I've realized these times exist because of someone with each of them that joins a new cycle is created. They, like me, have witnessed the beginning and the end of the story and decide to look further into the future. Every choice of theirs would rewrite the story slightly, reflecting themselves. Is that person you? Or should I say, you all? You can put it that way. hello, the beginning, end of time, and the source of all stories. I didn't expect to meet you in such a fashion. Until now, I have only been a witness of stories, wandering between the countless possibilities of the past and the future. But I never thought the day would come when I would meet the creator of all this. What is it, Darway? Darway there, brother? Is Darway self-inserting himself into the game again? What a moving scene. And now, since you guys are repeating it, this means the future that I saw is within reach, right? You're right. Although, to me, you're the creator. But I guess it's about relative perspective. You should witness the ending together with them. I want to witness the ending together with them. You should. I knew it. No one would turn a blind eye after knowing their story. That was quite a long story after all. The white-eyed girls stumbled along and through laughter and tears, they grew into reliable Valkyries. It really makes me want to say, good job, you're the best to them. And I want to tell them, this is the story we created. Oh. It seems like I really am life that was born because of you. Thank you, the long story of you and me has finally come to an end. At the end of the long and winding road appeared a light guide for your dream. That was a broken sentence. In her hazy thoughts, she heard an echo of the future again. But unlike before, the mechanical girl knew where this echo was coming from. She knew that as long as the person reached out to her, time will synchronize again, and be it for the person or for herself. And so she fervently grabbed at that ray of light, and as gently as she could, she gripped the person's wrist. Incredible. Why does that art of, like, Seely look so much better than her? Like, not a Seely, but that art looks fucking incredible. But then you have this schmuck over here. It's you! From that time in the Sea of Quanta. Move, what are you? The other Seely we meet for the first time. You're keen to have sensed that I don't belong here. There is no need to worry, I have no ill intent. I sense your calls to me, and that is why I'm here. It was also because of your calling that helped me free me from the imprisonment of a dream. So as repayment, I'm happy to help you. Oh, Teresa, she... Is it right? I've seen everything related to her in the dream. She'll be fine, but she does need help. Let's go together and finish her unfinished business. Space in front of them seemed to distort and abstract like a dissolving soap bubble. There's no need to be afraid, this is just a little hitchhiking method. Unfortunately, it can only be used in the imaginary space and can't be much of help to you. As everything before them returned to normal, they were back in the space where they parted ways with Teresa. The aggressive Honkai beasts were nowhere to be found, and a small figure lay nearby. So you rush forward and help the weakened girl up from the ground. She just fainted. A faint flame was dancing quietly at her chest. Even while unconscious, Teresa had her arms slightly folded and carefully protecting the flame in front of her chest. Although it had become as weak as a candle, it still burned steadily as if it would never be extinguished. Alright. The mechanical girl held her hand out to the flame. The moment she touched the flame, several faint glows floated from behind Teresa. They were human dreamlands that Seely could not take away, and they were left behind. Even though you've exhausted yourself, you're still protecting these humans' dreamlands. That's great. Even though they cannot sense it, their instincts and desire for the future will eventually bring new miracles to the world. Just like these powers they gave me. The shadow in her hand started burning fiercely, almost bright enough to illuminate the entire dream space. Meanwhile, at the base, the surveillance instruments let out a roar, and usually organized laboratory was thrown into chaos. We did it! Contact Kiana and others in the imaginary space. The coordinates of the cocoon finality has been confirmed. Can we end this chapter soon? This act, rather. Fucking hell. Through the countless samsaras, humans had found cocoons' whereabouts for the first time. Those passive existences who looked up upon the world from a higher dimension, what would they think of this unprecedented change? But rather than those intangible existences... Hello? Do you hear me, little ones on hold? An energetic voice suddenly sounded in their heads and instantly lifted their waning spirits. They had taken turns to deal with the waves of enemies surging from the chaos since they received instructions to be on standby and had rested here for a rather long time. Santi! Not so loud! Are you alright? What could possibly happen to me? Alright, it's time to get the real business. Get ready. Don't tell me! Yeah, you guys have already decided which one of you should step forward, right? No delays, we don't have much time. The Hirsch of Sanity did not say it exclusively, but at that moment, the three of them could not possibly have misunderstood the incoming task. They had finally located the cocoon after much difficulty, and the final decision they needed to make was, which one of them was to face the cocoon and become the artificial Hirsch of finality. Whatever the case, this was at least a better approach than fusion surgeries or other methods. And so, after a short spell of silence, someone spoke. No problem, Hersh of Sentience. We will do this together. Since Kevin can harness the power of finality, who can say for sure that there can only be one Hersh of finality? As long as our consciousness is connected to each other, it should not matter how many people share the Hersh authority. If it truly is necessary to concentrate everything on one person, then I will step up. But we have always been a team. If possible, we can hope to do it together. Ballsy. I don't mind either way. Sharing the authority or linking consciousness spaces, it makes no difference to the Hersh of Sentience. So in brief, what exactly do you guys plan to do? Don't tell me you're going to spend an hour or two on deep fusion. The clock is ticking. That won't be necessary. From the experience we had recently, we only need to achieve a similar status to when we fought the Hersh of Dominance. To be more specific, Kiana will be the bridge connecting everyone. Only this time, apart from the three of us, we need someone other than Fuhua. We need you, Hersha. Whatever. As I said, time is ticking. Who'd be first? Other than the Hersh of Origin, is there any better choice? It was as if they had discussed it at length. All the noises around died down. What is the authority of origin? The first Hersh of Human clearly did not want to explain it with words. Leave the theories and facts to the textbooks. As our successors follow the trails of our lives and the marks of our souls to find your answers. Perhaps at that time, Raiden Mei had not fully assimilated these words. But at this time, or at this moment, her intuitive move had proven everything. Hold this blade and close your eyes, Kiana! Next, you only need to do what you wish. I'll take care of the rest. As she sees. Before the girl could straighten everything out, she stepped into a strange realm. Above her head... Is Kiana narrating now? Above her head were a beautiful night sky and sparkling stars. Under her feet was the cool water surface and a reflection of fantasy. It was a sight she had never seen before. It was as if all the beauty of the human heart had gathered here. Following the gentle guidance of her beating heart, she dove deeper into the sea of stars. Time seemed to have stopped. During her journey, she saw the entirety of the Hersh of Origin. At the end of her journey, she understood the true nature of the Hersh of Thunder. And when the fantasy realm dissolved and her body became almost formless, she too once again came to understand Raiden Mei. It happened of itself in a calm way that in the evening, nighttime follows day, and it was the same with how things ended. How do you feel? Magical. It was like retracing the steps you'd taken and experiencing the feelings you'd had. I'm asking about how you feel right now. Well, I'm great. I feel 101 times stronger than before. That's nothing. If it were me, Kiana would be 1,001 times stronger than now. Does the number of times even matter? The Hersh of Sentience, haven't you said that time is running out? Kiana, let's get straight to it. There were poisons so subtle that to know their properties, one had to sicken them. They were maladies, so strange that one had to pass through them if one sought to understand their nature. These were the words Bronya saw in one of Dr. Einstein's books. Its author wrote mad things unfailingly, but if one read closely, they would begin to make sense. People say that you must look straight into chaos to master the way of observation, so I shut my eyes. People say that you must first be put into silence to know how to listen, so I cut out the noise. People say that you must live in the present to understand the future, so I kept my feet firmly on the ground. People say that you must first deprive yourself of everything to gain everything, so I make changes. It's done. Are you surprised that the nature of Hersh of Reason is so simple? Simple, more like empty. The Hersh of Reason's power is more like a castle floating in the air, just like mathematics. Proving that 1 + 1 is 2 is nothing more than repeating the definition of natural numbers. The Hersh of Reason only inherited the logic of civilization's evolution. So, to the other Hershes, nothing actually happens if the power of Hersh of Reason becomes theirs, because it is a miracle belonging to the mortals. But, never mind, you've already received Bronya's power, and that's enough. It's my turn now, eh? That's right, if Kiana can fuse successfully with Hersh of Sentience, half of all Hersh's power will be interconnected. Which is to say, other Hersh powers? Yes, maybe we'll have taken them on one by one to harness them. No one can be sure what the cocoon has up its sleeve. What? Just don't move about now, Kiana. After that, the three heard no more from the Hirsch of Sentience. Her silence was as abrupt as her voice. These are... It's finished. I was even able to do an instant teleportation. So how does it feel, Kiana? Do you feel 1,000 times more powerful? You mean our powers are integrated successfully? Of course. Bronya thought that Kiana had integrated quickly, but the Hirsch of Sentience was even quicker. I could have done it even faster, and I think Raiden Mei should know why. Because this place is a giant web that's woven out of billions of consciousnesses, and you happen to be the Hirsch of Consciousness. Are you playing dumb, Raiden? You're the one who gave me a ride, and now you're asking me how I got here? If your Hirscher power isn't integrating with all other Hirscher powers, then why did they, whom you were discussing earlier, attack us from all directions? A subway station? Are you familiar, Mei? Didn't she just obtain the authority of origin through this place? There's no more privacy for your thoughts when the authority of Hirsch of Sentience are bound together. Hirsch of Sentience, I can explain it myself. Yes, I obtained the authority of origin here. That's all. There's no explanation needed. This place should be related to me, or should I say related to the Hirsch of origin. Earlier, it was the beacon that led me here when I was pursuing the back door, but what just happened to us was the complete opposite. It appeared in front of us of its own before we could investigate. Given the Cocoon of Finality signal has been exposed, this might mean that we, or someone among us, should be one step away from becoming the Hirscher of Finality. Isn't it obvious? I said that the different Hirscher powers were coming from all directions. Raiden Mei, you really don't know. It's true, I don't know about what the power of origin is referring to. I'm just acting on instinct, and the result is what you see. But aren't things going too smoothly now? I thought we'd have to go through a lot more battles and find the enemy's Hirscher core to gather the powers. I felt the same, but judging from the current situation, perhaps our understanding of Hirscher's nature is too seriously off. Well, if that's true, haven't we made a big mistake? Right at the beginning, we were all chasing after a certain energy. Now that I think about it, the energy that Mei was chasing and we were chasing weren't the same. Seems like it. In hindsight, we were chasing Kevin's shadow, and you guys were chasing Origin, which is me. So it wasn't just dumb luck, but faith and sincerity. I want to change things and become... to hurry and connect with you, to help Kiana to make the impossible possible. It is every small but sincere wish that gives me the power that allows me to keep moving forward, and if those wishes are gathered in one place, then maybe they can become power. If that is true, this should be called the authority of romance. Cringe! Stop cringing! Stop widescreening me! Perhaps I need to cool you down right now. Please end soon. Hirsch of Sentience, what happened? I don't know, can you still see Mei and Bronya? Nah. Boom, boom. Oh, she's angry. I can't see anyone. Can you reach to them? Don't move, close your eyes. You guys are lucky. Kiana! I'm fine. What in the world happened? I don't know if I have to guess, maybe the power of the cocoon has already started to take effect. Are you still in the subway station from earlier? Yes, I am. That might mean that the cocoon of finality chose you on its own, Kiana. But all that's here with me right now is just fog. What do I do now? Hirsch of Sentience, will you do us a favor? I'll keep my end of the deal, just say it. Now I can still sense that the wills and the powers of all the Hirschers are gathering where Kiana is. I hope you can screen them and remove any potentially dangerous parts. This is like asking me to fight the consciousness of several Hirschers on my own. I won't force you if you can't do it, but Bronya and I will still do our best to project our consciousness there and at least help Kiana stabilize the space. You're not taking me seriously. Dealing with the consciousness of some dead Hirschers, even the ones alive like you guys, can't stand up to me, okay? Yes. But projecting your consciousness in this situation, wouldn't it be dangerous? It will happen whether by our choice or not. This folk seems to be screening all of the Hershes except you. In the end, we are likely to be reabsorbed by it. Or you've already found a way to harness the power of finality and don't need our help anyway. If it all falls on my shoulders to make everyone Kevin's special equal, or Kevin's equal rather, I won't say no to a helping hand. Okay. Let's first help you dispel some of the fog. Okay. Here we go. I could go for a fucking bagel or some shit right now, you know what I mean? Maybe like a sandwich. Oh, dude, I could go for a sandwich. Yeah? Please don't have me control the character. I don't want to control this character right now. Oh, fucking hell. Bro, why don't they just hit the fucking auto walk? Hersher of corruption! Defeated by the Hersher of origin. Oh. Oh? Damn, you can't like swerve away. Opportunity that everyone created for Mrs. Kiana. Oh. Oh. From over 10 years ago, from that time I met them, I've already been treading this path. It's fucking bright, that's what it is. Oh yeah, true Wendy, eh? Ugh, Wendy's nuts. Ah! 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 Bro, don't act like you remember the character. She hasn't been mentioned since chapter 1. Oh yeah, let's not try to act like we care about Wendy right now. You forgot about her for like at least 6 years. At least 6 years of forgetting. What's this one? Oh, the eruption. Mrs. Void. The result does have an important meaning. True. Ick lib dick. Fair enough. Fair enough, dude. Ick lib dick. I agree with that statement. This one is the big one. Nagazora. ここで私はメイ先輩やブローニャと出会った。幸せなことも悲しいこともたくさんあった。すべてが終わったらみんなと一緒にチョーク。I'll go back to Nagazora with them. I'm sure you will, I'm sure you will, Kiana. この年は Yeah. 別の顔に生まれ変わるのかもしれない。How many more do we have to go through? Every Hersher that has ever existed? Oh, that's so many doors. Rhymestar! Oh. This one's also forgotten.
運命のいたずらに翻弄された人たちに安らかな眠りを、たとえ悲劇が避けられないものだとしても
We'll fight to our last breath.
ずっと戦い続
Wow.
けていく。
Words of wisdom. Do 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 do. Sentience? Yeah, sentience.
いろいろあったけど、式の律者はもうすっかり頼もしい
And then we have to go to
仲間だよね。
domination after this one. And then we have to go to... No, that one is domination.
ずっと引きずってる問題は
No, wait. No, like that auto and the binding? Isn't that domination as well? I can't fucking remember.
もう答えを
All of her
探す
weapons are
必要
being
はない
here.
でしょ。
Damn. All of
あんた
Senti's
は
weapons.
不可じゃない。不可になる必要なんてないんだから。
Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, doo.
この扉の裏は
Behind this door is my biggest battle of all time.
ここなんだね。
Here. I'm blind. No? Oh shit, I'm an animation. Oh, the most intense moment of it
少
all.
年の眉、どんどん近くなっています。
Funky?
心配しないで。キアナちゃんはもう光だけを追いかける子じゃないわ。
Funky? This is great. Oh?
今のあなたは他人を照らす炎。
To the big man, Otto. Otto
変え
himself.
られない過去も。
あなたの力にしかなりません。
The hardest boss in the game, Callan. Alicia and the chasers and whatnot, the flame chasers. Oh.
準備はいい？キアナちゃん。
次は本当に終点です。
Sorry, who the fuck are they? Okay. This kind of feels like a Powerpuff Girls kind of like power-up scene. Like what Power Rangers or some shit. Kind of felt like the Power Rangers power-up scene. Oh, that's funny as hell. What the fuck is that? Oh, it's the cocoon, true. I was about to say, why the fuck's it moving? Oh, but there we are, boys. Bro, why do they have to make it an eye? Do I have to move? Oh, we're just going. Alright, 3v1? 3v1? After stepping into the clear light, the girls finally reached the cocoon. And also arrived in front of him. god. He didn't say a word, but still a question echoed in their minds. It reminded Mei of when she faced the will of Honkai, but this was different. Who are you? Not you, Raiden Mei. Not you, Bronya Zaychik. I'm Kiana Kislana. An ordinary Valkyrie, true and real. I'm also K423, a test subject created by Otto. I can also be considered an extension of Siren. Hey, it's just a bunch of fucking names. Sigiri's daughter, Teresa's niece, Durandal's younger sister, Himiko's student, friend of Mei, Bronya, Fua, and others. And also, Kevin's descendant. Why did you come? Are you asking for a reason, or what I wish for? I wish to find my dad. Saint Freya, I wish to become the strongest Valkyrie. I left school, I wish I could turn back time. Now I wish to bring this imperfect story closer to perfection. Just like how humanity learned to make fire, cook food, and defend themselves against predators, to solve the problem facing us to make our wishes come true, I came here. But to put in perspective, be it fire or the power of finality, they will eventually become a part of the people's daily lives and bring them one step closer to the future. And that's why I came, to become a lightning bolt that strikes the tree. As for what humanity can create from kindling, we're yet to find out, eh? Why do you want to do this? Didn't expect to get a series of whys. Frankly speaking, anyone that acts won't bother much about this question, because the answer is always within their reach. Because this world raised me. Because before me, there were people who kept moving forward to better the world and to spread happiness. They taught me to be determined and persistent. They gave me the courage to forge ahead. Taught me to love what love was and what beauty was. And it was them who've been there for me all along. There are some of them whom I've never met or had the chance to meet, you know. But they've all helped me one way or another. So even if it's not me standing here today, there will surely be someone else on their behalf. Someone who shares the same conviction. The world gave us life, but only by hurting it can we get our own value. There was a brief silence. Then he asked the last question. Did I miss it? Oh, I missed it. Fair enough. Of course I'm willing. To fight for all that is beautiful in the world. He took a step forward, smiling without any reply. And the moment he stood still, something rushed into the body, resonating through the mind. You are just a mirror. Or should I say, you are me. Facing my true self is what I need to do to qualify finality. Seems we're finally the same footing as Kevin. Though his method was close to stealing, the cocoon will still recognize him and expected to see a winner between us. And so we've got to win with style. Of course, after all, we are just like Kevin, each representing our own era. And because of many coincidences compared with ordinary people, we have taken one step further and come to the spotlight. We did become Hershers, but we are still human. What we need to do next is carry through the human will to the end and fight the final battle with the Guardian. Humanity is the truth-seeking species. Every person grows in the search of truth. Yes, we make mistakes and we take the wrong steps, but that's exactly where the human will shines. If we make the mistake, we correct it. If we take the wrong way, we turn around. Past sins cannot be undone, but as long as we are living in the present, we can build a future. Incredible.
Incredible! Origin is the end. Brother.
Nah, literally look at the reasoning. Let's take a nice little cheeky screening of this one. That's a nice picture. A lot of people are probably going to set that as their wallpapers. Am I right or am I right, boys? A lot of people are going to be like, oh, wallpaper material! Origin is an end, and finality is a beginning. Wrong. And what we hold true may be proven false someday, but the pursuit of truth never ends. And this is not a game between Kevin and us, it's humanity's fight against fate. From the past, through the present, to the future. Gabagoo! Oh, can the story just end? This has been going on for 5 hours almost. I want to just jump. The world had flipped open a new page, and the Earth's destiny would soon experience unprecedented changes. But before that, there must be someone to recall the past, recall the beginning of everything. For example, the story.
私がかつて読んだ夢の中にこういうシーンがあったの。
Among the dream spaces I've witnessed, there was one such scene.
それは
It was a sunny morning in the park. A boy who wanted to become a writer and a girl who wanted to become a protagonist were making up a story. The boy thought for a long time and wrote the start of a story, which with much difficulty, but he did not know how the protagonist would take the next step, so he asked, "If you were trapped in a dark cave right now, how would you get out?" The girl said, "I'd cry for help so some people can hear me and come save me." The boy then asked, "What if it was dark and no one was around?" The girl paused and said, "Then I'd make a torch and walk out of there on my own." The boy muttered that it would be too easy, so he set up a new obstacle for the girl based on the story he had read. What if a huge dragon is lying at the mouth of the cave, he asked. Then I will burn its bottom with fire when it's asleep. The girl waved the branch in her hand, looking lively. I just have to spook it and make it move aside so I can go home. The boy was surprised and I said, "I thought you were gonna..." The girl answered earnestly, "I'm not like that. It wasn't the dragon that got me trapped, was it? And the cave might actually be the dragon's home." The boy thought about it, and the game ended there. It's an interesting game, isn't it? But everyone is different after all, and because of that, I am especially curious about one thing. When the story is coming to an end, where the girl is holding a torch and facing a huge dragon, what do you want her to do, and what kind of ending would you like to see? I don't know. A one where she kills the main bad guy. Fucking hell. That's to be the longest 9 stages of my fucking life. And there's still 2 more things. I guess this is just the trailer, but this is more story. Jesus Christ, boys. And there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. Chapter 35, part 1 has been completed. And holy fuck, was that a battle? Battle of attrition mentally. Oh, pardon me. That was a long one. And let me tell you, quite enjoyable. Game needs to restart. Lick my nuts. Sure. That was a banger chapter. Or act. But god, was it long. A lot of filler. But it was kind of interesting for the most part. We got a lot of cool knowledge there. What is it? Fuhua, active Honkai reaction. We got adult Teresa, or I guess active Honkai reaction Teresa. AHR. They'll have to make another acronym for that. AHR, Teresa, and Fuhua. Maybe playable characters in the future, who knows. That'd be kind of dope. Overall, great. Hershra finality has been created. Oh, what a just a 10 out of 10, eh? What a 10 out of 10. Ah, so many battlesuits being teased. Sure. It would be cool if they were playable. I don't think they will be, though. Like, the Fuhua one is definitely not playable. They're like, as much as I want it to be playable, I'll be realistic, it's probably not going to be. Probably not going to be. But that was great. That was, good job. Good job, Mahoyo, on that one. But, fuck, you could have made the chapter, like, slightly shorter, I think. I think if you made this chapter, like, I don't know, like, maybe 1 hour shorter, that would have been the perfect amount of time, because holy crap, it's 10:30, so, and now we started about at 6:30, so what, that's like 4 hours of story. A solid 3 hour story is where I'm thinking, right? Oh, hello. What's this? Honkai Back 3rd member. You can check out your cherished memories with Honkai. Part 1 memoir. Oh, okay. Oh, nice. We got a skin. I'm not going to use the character, but thank you. Cool. And what else? Nothing else? Okay, great. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the wrap-up for the stream as well.